he's been a very busy man in Croke Park over the last month or so. President Michael D. Higgins. As the fans watch on, he's accompanied once again by Oakdrawn Common Lucas Goyle Liam O'Neill, who spoke with great enthusiasm on the Sunday game last week. And there is Brian Cody up there watching down. And first of all, it's Clare captain Pat Donlan doing the introductions. Last week we thought we'd be seeing Pat play deep in defence. Instead he was impressively effective at midfield. David McInerney there, one of those to win an under-21 medal in the last few weeks. Colm Galvin, Tony Kelly and Podge Collins also being among the medal winners. And that's 2 in a row for Clare, 3 in 5 years. They're doing an awful lot right in the Banner County, a powerful record. Podge Collins, so much has been spoken about him, and that's Shane O'Donnell has just come into the team, and Conor McGrath the last man. James McGrath from Westmeath's in charge. His linesmen are Brian Gavin and Johnny Ryan. Galway's Alan Kelly is the sideline official. And then the umpires, Tom McNicholas, David Hennessy, Johnny Fitzpatrick and David Clune. All very experienced officials, all with a very, very big job to do today. Now Cork's turn to greet the president. Park Cronin, who got one of the 3 goals in the draw match doing the introductions, and he's one of 2 Bishopstown players on the team, the other being Shane O'Neill, of course, number 3 there. County champion SARS from Riverstown Glanmire, they've got 3. Conor O'Sullivan, Daniel Carney, and now Cian O'Sullivan as well, son of the legendary Teddy. That's Daniel Carney. Seamus Harnedy there, that's Cian McCarthy. Then Luke O'Farrell from Middleton, and another Middleton man, Conor Lehar. Patrick Horgan in between them. So the president and the day's other officials and special guests can take their place in the stands now and enjoy the flavour and the quality these teams are capable of serving up in front of a massive crowd at Croke Park. The polite handshakes beforehand, and then action all the way for part 2 of the 126th All-Ireland Hurling Final.
Yes, we're all here now. All we need is a match, and we're going to have that in a few minutes' time. Liam Sheedy, I was reading Donald O'Cusack's article on the GA website, making the point about psychologically repeating what you did the first day. In other words, getting your mindset right. Now, he was making an interesting point, I thought, which was that Clare got it right the first day. Cork weren't quite where they would have liked to have been. So in other words, he was questioning whether Clare could repeat that, whereas Cork don't necessarily have to repeat it because they didn't do it the first day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think you probably would have had a similar situation last year where Kilkenny didn't perform and everyone would have said, listen, that's not going to happen 2 days in a row. So for a player that hasn't performed the first day, his mindset is going to be very, very sharp, because from the time the match was a draw, he was saying, I can't wait to get back here again. That's the natural reaction to a player. But I think with all the support groups you have now, I think very much players are set up. I mean, the other side of it is players that came up here and performed, they're very, very confident now. So I'm not sure there's much advantage in that or psychologically. I think the bottom line is when the ball is thrown in, both teams have to go at it hammer and tongs, and they have to find themselves, find their form, find their rhythm and get it early. I think, as Cyril said, the first 10 or 15 minutes of this match I think is going to be critical. Whichever team can get a stronghold on the game in that first period, I think is going to give themselves a real platform to build on, and will be very, very hard to peg back. But as I said, I expected, this is probably going to be nip and tuck again, and I again looking forward to it immensely, because we've seen some fantastic scores, some fantastic blocks, some fantastic goals the last day. I'm sure we'll see something similar again today.
Eddie Brennan, we have another full crowd here today, which is incredible for a replay on a Saturday evening. We just heard the drum roll there a moment ago. The players get into the parade. What are you feeling right now as a player? Where are you at?
I think a lot of the time, I think you have to maybe experience one to know what to do. But I think a lot of the time for us, and for me anyway, was just keep the head down, breathe, and keeping focused on your job at hand. I mean, I think the first thing you'll do anyway is first ball, just nothing else. The first ball, be it a hook or a block or a tackle or a catch, it's just to keep very, very focused. Different times I think you can get lost if you don't keep your head tuned in. I've seen different years look at different players and they're looking up in the stand and jumping up and down. It's a sign of lads maybe not tuned in or nervous, whereas you often see teams very determined going around. They're not doing a whole lot of looking around, and I think Clare the last day did that. The last day they were just nice and calm going around, and it's about keeping control of your emotions as well, because the tendency is at the start of a match is to get stuck in and tear in and lay down your marker on the first ball. Like I say, you shake hands with him and you say it's you or me, old stock, you know what I mean, and that's the way it has to be. So it's about keeping control of your emotions, stay very focused on what you have to do.
I asked you lads this question 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to ask it again. who's going to win the All-Ireland final?
Well, I went for Clare the last day thinking that they were fresh and kind of new. Now, that hurled so well the last day and didn't win, it's a slight worry. Because, as the boys say, they have to do the same thing again. I just had the feeling if they get a good start, a good push on and win it this time. But, Cork will know that, if they don't let Clare start as well, if Cork get the start, they'll be very hard to stop. I'm feeling Clare might just get there. But, it's going to be tight. Well, it'll be tight early on. But, Michael, someone could win this game well.
Dave Sheedy?
Yeah, well, look, I felt all the time that Clare had the better players. I think they have the better panel of players. They have some fantastic players in my view, some players that will be around Croke Park for a long, long time to come. They've averaged 25 points in the last 3 games, quarter-final, semi-final and final. If they get near that total again today, I expect them to win. Clare by a few points for me.
Eddie Brennan, have you swapped horses?
No, I'm sticking with my little pony. I went with Cork the last day. I felt they would do it. Clare, I've no fear of Clare. They will perform. There's no doubt about that. I think Davy Fitz has them primed, ready to go. But again, as we've spoken a lot about, and everyone has spoken about, Cork did not perform the last day. I expect them to go about their business from the word go. And I expect them just to get over the line by a couple of points.
All right, lads, thank you for your thoughts on all of that. Well, we were left in a bit of a limbo after that first match, but now, here we go again. What now is the destiny of the Liam McCarthy Cup this autumn? It is time to find out with Michael Duignan and Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. What a setting. The last of the summer wine. And basked in glorious sunshine here. Absolutely magnificent. An amazing setting. Thrilling spectacle. Just so great to be here, to see these pictures. A wonderful day for the sport, a sport which is such an inherent part of everyday life in the hurling heartlands. And these finalists today, Park Ronan leading the men from Cork, just like the other finalists this month, carrying the hopes, the expectations of their own communities at home. And it's mirrored by the colour that you see everywhere, not just here in Croke Park today, but all around the country, especially in the counties where the competing teams are from. Clare, bedecked in the colours of the Clare team. The little flags to be seen on cars crisscrossing the nation's roads, the colours that adorn the front of houses, the bunting, not to mention the well-decorated teddy bears they stick on the hedges and the fences. All of it underlining yet again the sheer popularity of Gaelic sports and the sense of camaraderie which a great sport like this, like hurling, can engender. Final, Michael, which brings down the curtain on a summer that's produced some fascinating, brilliant, entertaining matches. Let's hope we get another one here.
Absolutely, Joe. Fantastic summer, and I for one am delighted we had a draw the last day, so we can go again and see. And it's going to be intriguing to see how Cork go about it in particular. They got well beaten in practically every position on the field the last day, and they won't want that to happen again. I expect a few changes in their forward line. I think Pat Cornan will go to full forward, and they're going to try some high ball in there. I think that's the Clare full backline have looked a little bit dodgy under the high ball during the summer. I think Pat Horgan might go out the field to centre forward with Keane McCarthy out in the wing. We'll wait and see. But I expect much more physical Cork, much more determined. And I went for Cork the last day marginally, but I just think that this Clare team, they really impressed me the last day. I knew they were a very good young team. I thought it might be a year too soon for them. But to have some exceptional hurlers, as Liam Sheedy said in the studio, to have so many 19-year-olds, Tony Kelly, Podge Collins, Shane O'Donnell, young lads like that, David McInerney, fantastic players, and Colin Galvin in the middle of the field, and with lots more of them coming from the under-21 teams. So it's a big day for both teams. I think if this Clare team can make the breakthrough, we're going to see an awful lot of them in years to come. And the same with Cork, a young team as well. Generally speaking, Shane O'Neill, maybe the most experienced man, they played very well the last day. But look, who knows until it starts? Every game of hurling takes on its own life. And look, I for one, the atmosphere, unbelievable. 82,000 people. The atmosphere around Dublin all day, and we are some country for hurling and football. Unbelievable.
Quite amazing. Throughout the month of September, I estimate around about, including tomorrow's women's final, probably 300,000 people have come through the turnstiles. Staggering when you think about it.
Unbelievable. 1.5 million people at times last Sunday watching the football final on television. It's just an incredible love of the game we have, and I'm just expecting another cracking game. And one thing I noted there, Davy Fitzgerald looked so relaxed before the game.
Does.
It was incredible. In the team talk there, he was calm, he was collected, and a man who's been around the block as a trainer now so much, but he just looked so relaxed. And obviously his players couldn't hurl the way they do unless they were relaxed. Determined and relaxed, a great way to go out in the match.
He means so much to the game and to this group of young players up against Cork, coached brilliantly by Jimmy Barry Murphy and his backroom team. Now, before the action gets underway, there's going to be a moment's pause to mark the untimely passing of several people connected very closely with the GAA. They include Richie Boyle from Ardfinnan in County Tipperary. He was an umpire with the team of officials that did so many. Albert Fahy from Ballymahon in County Longford, brother of Derek Fahy, the well-known referee, also passed away recently. Sean Duggett from Galway, former Liam Mellow's hurler, he also died very sadly recently. And of course, as well as that, the former Uachtarán of Cummin Glasgow, Paddy McFlynn. Paddy was a native of Maherifelt in County Derry. He was a founder member of the O'Donovan Rossa club there. At 23, he was secretary of the Derry County Board, and then he moved to County Down, served as president of the board there, and was involved in the Tullylish Club, and he was, of course, president of the GAA from 1979 until 1982. Always such a pleasant man to meet. Yesh love day Gurida Nonam Nuka Ursel.
And Jerry, we could just mention maybe the Connolly's dad in Galway, the great Connolly hurling fellow John Joe Michael. Their dad was buried last Monday as well, and may he rest in peace.
Clare versus Cork, the sequel. Saturday night hurling fever, grips Croke Park. Amazingly, it's the sixth meeting of these teams. It's handled today by James McGrath, the Westmeath official. His second All-Ireland hurling final replay. He was in charge, of course, last year as well. Now, the band haven't got off yet. And eventually the referee just decides, throw the ball in and let's get on with it. And it is Cork who play from left to right in the first half, hoping to make a good early impression here. Park Cronin, the captain, coming out here, leaving it as far as Stephen MacDonald, across to the far wing. Coming up to pick it up is Connolly Hahn. Point last week, well blocked down this time by the roving Conor McGrath. Does an immense amount of work for this team. Meant to be at corner forward, but he's back helping out. Lee Hahn goes after him. McGrath hits that shot, but hits it just to the right. Worth a go, he probably felt. It would have been a huge boost for his team, but his work rate is immense.
Incredible, a great block down there on Conor Lehane. Just watching here what's happening. Pat O'Connor has gone in centre back on Cian McCarthy. Pat Cronin now gone in full forward, and Pat Horgan has come out, and Brendan Bugler has picked him up.
Brian Murphy, it looks like, has been given the job of going and picking up Padge Collins. We'll see how he fares on him this afternoon. Difficult man to contain. Coming out with this one is Pat Donlan, Clare captain, hoping he'll be lifting the McCarthy Cup at the end of all of this. Driving forward, John Conlon, looking over his shoulder here to see William Egan after him. Strikes it off his left and puts it over the bar. Opening point of the match, scored by John Conlon. It's taking just over a minute to produce here. Good individual work, bounced it off the ground, then 45 metres out from the target, off his left-hand side, avoided the hook of Egan and put it over the bar.
Yeah, Ger, that's a great score, and interestingly, long puck out from Anthony Nash again. They have the win behind him, Cork, and again the breaking ball won straight away there by Clare, by Conor Ryan, out to John Conlon, and a great score.
Into the half-forward line from this puck out, and it's enabled Pat O'Connor to go back, get away from his man who is Cian McCarthy, who's gone out to the wings as anticipated. In here as far as Colin Ryan. Clare settling down to the task immediately, in as far as the man they brought in for this, Shane O'Donnell, in place of Dara Conan, trying the shot, and that one has gone over the bar. 2 attacks, 2 points.
Ger, that's great ball, diagonal ball across the field. Just O'Donnell inside in his own, took on Shane Reel, and a great score again, confidence to put it over the bar. This is a great start by Clare.
Well, he'll be very, very pleased with that. It was interesting, I thought Padge Collins was going to be picked up by Shane O'Neill, but they've gone and switched back again. Puck out once again by Cork to try to win this one, and it breaks down here as far as Seamus Harnedy, driving it from 20 metres out, a point they've needed to settle down the teams. 2 points to 1, and as in the first match, Seamus Harnedy gets the first point for Cork in this game.
Yeah, you saw Keane McCarthy under that, pulling very hard under the dropping ball, and obviously that's something they worked on. That's why he's in there, and great ball picked up by Harnedy.
Referee calling across after we acknowledge Harnedy's fine play there. Pat O'Connor has been called across, and Patrick Horgan as well. Remember, he sent off Pat Horgan, this referee, before half-time in the Munster final against Limerick, and that was later rescinded. 2 points to 1 then, Clare leading. Pat Kelly's puck out. Wind holding it up a little bit. Wind back in Cork for the first time. It's a gentle breeze. Harnedy once again, very effective, all the way in towards Park Cronin, who's moved into full forward. Challenged strongly, gets as far as Luca Farrell, trying to make inroads, not succeeding immediately, judiciously playing it out as far as Rockall McLaughlin, and McLaughlin puts it over the bar, and the teams are level for the first time in this match. 3.5 minutes are gone. It's flying stuff here at Croke Park in this replayed final.
Yeah, great work by Luca Farrell and Lorcan McLaughlin on his shoulder. But interestingly, as I said before the game, Park running at full forward, and they're going to be looking for a high ball in there. He broke that down and was picked up, and you can watch the Cork forwards much sharper on the breaking ball so far in the first few minutes.
And
great
Cian
start.
Dillon's on Park Cronin at full forward. He's gone across into full forward. Here's John Coughlin, second possession for him. Scored with his first one. It's going to drop short. O'Donnell's in there. Loves to score goals. He's got more goals than points. 3-2 is his tally in the championship this year. Brought it out here as far as Christopher Joyce. Challenged there by two Clare men. Got it off his left hand side and swings it into midfield, in towards Harnedy once again. Jumping for it there with Conor Ryan, the man of the match in the original game. Tony Kelly across the field over here. Conor O'Sullivan challenging Conor McGrath. McGrath has it. Second time to get on the ball here in this match. Put the first one wide, and the second shot he hits, and he hits it over the bar. Great point by Conor McGrath. His sheer industry rewarded here. He can be such a lethal predator, this fella. Showed his skills once again here, and Clare shoot back in front once more.
Yeah, Ger, what a start to the game. The pace is just incredible. Every ball being fought for, both sides picking up great breaking ball, and Tony Kelly there again with a great ball into space, and you saw how quick Conor McGrath turned again there, and a great score.
Conor Ryan is picking up Harnedy, just having a look around at the different matchups that they have here. Once again it is Donlan in midfield, pursued here by a couple of Cork players. One of them is Daniel Carney. Can he catch up with him? What a run through the centre here, across towards O'Donnell, and O'Donnell goals! This is the man they brought in because of his real goal threat. His fourth championship goal, justifying his selection. A goal in the 6th minute. What a boost this is.
Well, Ger, what a run by Pat Donlan, first of all. But he shouldn't be able to walk up the centre like that. But a great hand pass, and what a finish, low and hard into the net. And as you said, that's psychologically, this is huge for Clare to get that goal so early.
Cork trying to counter at the other end. Luca Farrell trying to pick it up. Repulsed, however, and David McInerney trying to get it out. Back in by Luca Farrell, prodded back out by Donald O'Donovan. Back out here as far as Rockall McLaughlin. 30 metres out from goal. McInerney tries to force it out. Helped there by John Conlon. Conlon has it, gets away from McLaughlin. Steals away, back off his left-hand side again, now drives it a good 70-80 metres into the goalkeeper's hand. Could have done something better with that one, I think. That goal was a huge boost, however. 1-3 to 2 points. It's still Clare, and it's Tony Kelly now winning the free in, and everything has gone well for the banner.
It is, Ger, but you know, it's open both sides. Cork could have broken onto a ball on the far side of the field, but you'd have to say there, look at again the tackling of Tony Kelly there. But here's Pat Donlan, you know, the break down the middle. There was nobody in the centre back position. He ran straight down the channel, showed great pace and a great goal.
And that's what it means to Davy Fitzgerald and Saoirse Bulfin there, his right hand man on the sideline. His first free of the game, first of the match, going to be taken by Colin Ryan. 12 points against Cork the last day, 11 of those coming from frees inside the 45 metre line, and a very, very good start here.
And during the work rate of the Clare forwards, John Conlon was back in his own half back line there. He took a wrong option, but look at the tackling when Cork tried to come out. Tony Kelly fought so hard for the ball, won the free, and Colin Ryan first scored today for him.
Well, Clare, of course, imposed their physical might and ruthless determination on Cork the last day. Now what are Cork going to do about it? That puck out towards Park Cronin. He gets there well. Trying to link up here with a support player. It's William Egan, drives it in towards the goal area, bounces off Luca Farrell, collected back there well by Conor Ryan, driven back out here as far as Colm Galvin. Galvin trying to get away from Daniel Carney, and out over the sideline following that intense pressure. A line ball to Cork, who trailed by 1-4 to 2 points. 7.5 minutes into the match. Chris Joyce about to take this in his second, or is he? He's going to leave it, and the man who'll hit it in instead will be Daniel Carney. Very, very energetic player, Daniel Carney. Almost a miss hit there, and he gave it away to Colin Galvin. Gets onto it. Carney went in to try and make amends and get the block in. Took a little bit of the heat out of that. Drops into the hands of Conor O'Sullivan. Helped out, and there was a foul there on Brian Murphy. And Brian Murphy is feeling his hand there, and Tony Kelly is spoken to by the referee.
Yeah, and as you were, Colin Galvin a little bit casual on the ball the two times he got it, but a great block down, very brave there by Daniel Carney.
And he got a kick in the head, totally accidental from Colin Galvin coming through that time, but it showed sheer commitment and bravery on Carney's part. And this looks like it's going to be a talk rather than a card eventually.
Yeah, that might be a throwback to earlier in the summer, rather than giving a yellow card very early. And Brian Murphy, as you said, marking Podge Collins. No ball has come in between them yet, and Stephen McDonald out at centre back on Tony Kelly, but Tony Kelly just threw him away for that goal, took him out to the wing, and he went with him and left the middle wide open for Pat Donlan.
That's interesting. They brought the goalkeeper out, Michael, to take it. It's right on the middle line between the 265s, but they've opted instead to try Pat Horgan. Well, it's well within his range, Jenny, as we know.
Yeah, I think they might have stolen 4 or 5 yards there from where it was originally given, and it brought it into his range. 11
shots on the target the last day, 10 points in all, and he's got his first here. So 1-4-3 points, early stage in this replayed final. Pat Kelly pucks it out, puts the pressure on the Cork half-backs. They have a big task on their hands. Colin Ryan, Kelly and Conlon, all very good players. Out it comes from defence, out as far as Conor O'Sullivan. Always keeps a very cool head and very often links up with his goalkeeper, Anthony Nash, who knows what's coming and anticipates and drives it back away down the field towards Cronin. Picked up here by McCarthy, Cian McCarthy, swinging it off for his left shoulder, but swinging it wide. Yeah, there's an opportunity.
I think Jerry get an idea of the wind there. Anthony Nash has a great puck of the ball, but he right down to the 21 from his own line. And Cian McCarthy, I think that's a fault in his game. He takes on shots. Pat Cronin was loose inside him. All he did was throw a little hand pass over the top there, and it was his handy score. And he went for a really 50-50 ball and pucked it wide.
Pat Kelly pucking it out. Drop down there. And onto it quickly comes Conor McGrath. After him goes Seamus Harnedy. In low, dangerously, in towards O'Donnell again. In to try and collect it is Shane O'Neill, and he succeeds in his task, but it's closed down. Intense pressure by the Clare. It out as far as Brian Murphy. Murphy away down there into the corner to Connolly Hahn. A lot of work to do from here. Takes on Donald O'Donovan. O'Donovan challenges him high, loses him completely, and Connolly Hahn has a shot and puts it over the bar. Brilliantly done by Lee Hahn. All of a sudden there was an enormous amount of space in front of him. He actually could have carried it another 20 metres, but he had enough confidence in himself. He backed himself from this angle here, hit it over the bar brilliantly. 1-4 to 4 points.
Jerry had, but that's a fantastic score. Shane O'Neill out in front of his man, and Brian Murphy up the wing, and what a score by Conor Lehane. And what a game. Cork coming back into it again, but here's Clare coming through.
And it's Conlon who was blocking down Willie Megan's clearance, and they managed to get it out of defence, Cork, eventually out towards Lorcan McLaughlin, who'll be looking for a great deal more success from his efforts in midfield. The first game seemed to almost pass him by. There was a chop there, and it's got to be a free in from 45 metres out. This was where Lorcan McLaughlin was trying to get the ball away, and the referee saw an illegal use of the stick, so it's got to be another free for Clare and Colin Ryan.
Great work by Podge Collins, a great tackling again, and he won the ball and was held back, and a handy free now for Colin Ryan.
So from 45 metres out, straight in front of the posts, should be an easy one, and is for Colin Ryan from Newmarket on Fergus. 2 from 2 for him, 1-5 for 4 points. Early stages yet, but some Clare fans already looking like they think this could be their day. It may well be. Puck out quickly towards Clark Cronin. Was he pushed in the back? Cork fans thought so. Clare fans thought otherwise. Likewise the referee. Here comes Colin Galvin from 65 metres out. Conor O'Sullivan comes across to try and cut it out. But that first touch has to be good because Conor McGrath is in immediately. He's got to support Clare as well. And there's another goal! And he's done it again! Amazingly, Shane O'Donnell with 2 in the opening 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah, you'd have to say it's a great ball across, but Conor O'Sullivan normally so tidy, made a mistake, but Conor McGrath still had a lot to do. But what a run, straight down the middle again, beautiful hand pass. And Shane O'Donnell, who wasn't in the team all week, comes in, 2 goals in the first 12 minutes of an All-Ireland final. What a dream for him. And they're huge scores for Clare. Didn't score goals all year, and now they look like scoring one every time the ball goes in there.
And he didn't get on the field, Michael, in the original match 3 weeks ago. But it's been a huge bonus to have him in there. And a wonderful decision by Davy Fitzgerald to select him at full forward. He's got that goal touch. They always say about O'Donnell, doesn't even think about anything else, just goes straight through. So 2 goals in the space of 7 minutes have fairly well set this match up for Clare. Now what will the Cork response be? Patrick Horgan hitting it in, it's got to drop a bit short in there, bounces off Cian Dillon's hands, back to Pat Kelly's goalkeeper, keeps a nice cool head, gets it back out as far as Pat O'Connor, slips it in as far as Colm Galvin, and they work it out of defence in measured, controlled fashion. Very enterprising play by Clare, down once again as far as O'Donnell. He's tormenting that Cork full back line. They get it out eventually, Cork, out eventually by Stephen MacDonald, whips on it, down into the inside forward line. Lee Hahn once again, can he prove the danger man for the Rebels here? He's got another point. 2 shots, 2 points for Conor Lee Hahn, and it's a 2-goal game, 2-5 to 5 points.
Yeah, Conor Lehane very sharp since the start of the game. Maybe had a half chance there for a second, but he was forced out the field and put it over the bar. But again, it's Conor McGrath's run, and look at the little hand pass there. You talked about Shane O'Donnell maybe making the runs and scoring goals, but they're just 2 finishes that he had to make from lads coming straight down the middle and opening up the Cork defence. And Cork are really going to have to tighten up back there. I think the changes aren't working. Brian Murphy will maybe have to go centre back and try to close down the half back line a little bit.
Clare have created 10 chances so far, taken 7 of those. Cork have created 7 chances and taken 5. They're trying to create an 8th one here now. Once again towards Luke O'Farrell, bounces away from him, and David McInerney is a very, very crafty cornerback today, rather than the number 3 on his back of his jersey. Solos too far, got a little bit too confident in himself, and Luke O'Farrell helped there by Lochlan McLaughlin robbing him. But great play here, coming across Donal O'Donovan. Up here as far as the midfielder, Colm Galvin. Swinging it diagonally across, should be Egan's, comes onto it swiftly, solos forward, the man from Kilbrinn into the inside forward line. Park Cronin there with Cian Dillon, who's lost his stick, and the referee says we're pushing, and it's going to be a free in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He was definitely very, he looked all eyes on the ball, and sometimes that wouldn't be given, but he was very close to him, maybe half up in his back. But
and they're bringing up the goalkeeper. Anthony Nash is on his way. Well, they're 2 goals down. As you can see, just over 15 minutes are gone. Cork's second free of the match.
And it looks like Clare are putting, there could be 12, 13 players going into the goals.
This is going to be worth having a look at. Here's Nash, and look at where all the Clare team are.
Jerry, you'd have to say Clare 6 points up after 15 minutes, but Cork look like they're going to get plenty of scores too. It's so open. It's not like an All-Ireland final. There's loads of room out there, and anything can happen in this game.
Well, if you were the Clare manager, what would you do? You'd bring everybody back, of course you would. Now, what can Anthony Nash do? Onto the 13-metre line, and he's got to go. Somehow he squeezed it in. 16 minutes are gone, an amazing start to this final. 2-5 to 1-5. Anthony Nash gets his 3rd ever championship goal. Watch this, sailing it over the head there of Pat O'Connor and everybody else. There was no stopping it. Venomously struck. Look where he went to, onto the 13-metre line. Bang!
And all the goalies hurled inside. But Jared, the problem there is everybody's nearly leaving it to somebody else. Now, he couldn't save that shot anyway. That is a rocket, and if that hit somebody, I think he was rising it into the 13-metre line. It's crazy, it's dangerous, but it's under the rules. He's well entitled to do it.
Who will react to that score? It's Clare who've got it next. John Conlon, he was being held. It's got to be a free in, and it's got to give a chance now to Colin Ryan to put another one over the bar. And he's coming across to perform his task.
And that's a brilliant catch by John Conlon after the goal. But just to go back to it, Ger, you put too many lads on the line. Who's responsible? There was 12 lads or something on the line there. Nobody really knows who's going to go for it. But you couldn't save that shot.
Did they have too many in there?
Well, I think so. Nobody knows really. If you have your 3 lads on the line, at least that's it. But they were hoping maybe to go low and hit somebody. I would like to get a belt of it.
Certainly not. So Colin Ryan then to add to his points tally. He's got 2 so far from frees, and every time he comes up you can more or less write it down, and he's got another one. Tremendous shooting. Well, Davy Fitzgerald a bit anxious after the concession of that goal, but they got the next score, and that's important for him and for Clare. Encouragement, 2-6 to 1-5. Anthony Nash pucking it towards the 45-metre line. There was a wild pull there. Down went Park Cronin. His marker is Cian Dillon. Gave away that last foul or free, which led to the Nash goal. Just watch here. Dealing that, I have to say.
No, both missed the ball in my opinion, and
slight push, but very, very little.
yeah, but you'd have to say Park Cronin doing very well under the high balls. There's a couple of frees now come off, and he's broken a couple of balls, and that move is certainly working for Cork.
So here comes Pat Horgan, man who is blessed with wonderful natural ability. That last point he got the last day was absolutely sensational, and he is in form as well with the frees. 2 from 2 for him. There's not much point in fouling with the likes of Colin Ryan for Clare and Patrick Horgan for Cork about. So a goal between them once again. Pa Kelly from Ina Kilnamona. Drops into the half back line of Cork. Coming out to collect it, Conor McGrath's looked very lively in the match so far. Galvin composed, drives it back in there. 2 Cork players go for the one ball, and between them they've missed it, and O'Donnell's in for a hat-trick. O'Donnell has got it! Horrible defending, brilliant finishing by Shane O'Donnell, and there seems to be no way to stop him. He's got goals after 6 minutes, 13 minutes, and now 19 minutes of this match, and he's made it 3-6 to 1-6. That should have been defended better. There was nobody there when the ball was blocked down and knocked to O'Donnell, and he just bounced it in past Anthony Nash.
Yeah, but you'd have to say there are a couple of things there. An absolutely lovely flick down by John Conlon, but Shane O'Neill caught completely ball watching, but he still had a lot to do. Look at that for a finish, just to improvise like that and throw it up and bat it into the net. A lot of skill involved there, and John Conlon's little touchdown, great score.
When you think if Podge Collins had scored a goal with about 6 or 7 minutes to go in the last match, we wouldn't be back here, I'm pretty certain. They couldn't get a goal that day. They've got 3 this afternoon in the opening 20 minutes. And Clare lead. And Cork are under pressure. And it's Conor O'Sullivan once again, driving it in as far as Lochorn McLaughlin. Needs an extra second on the ball. Clare's touch is faster, sharper. That time there was a foul on him, so it's got to be a free out. And Anthony Nash will come out a goal for Jimmy Barry Murphy's team. And if he's coming out, you can be pretty certain he's going to see if he can put it over the bar from just inside his own 65-metre line.
Yeah, and Jerry, your point there that Clare look sharper, and they do, and they're playing the ball. But still, before that goal, I was just going to say to you, there's only a goal in it, and Cork will be delighted with it. But it just seems every time the ball goes in around their full backline, panic, and Clare looks so dangerous. And a little bit same down the other end. I think Cork are actually picking up a lot of breaking ball, like 1-6 after 20 minutes, a decent score as well. But Clare are just going to town up in their forward line at the moment. And Shane O'Donnell, 3 goals in an All-Ireland final in 20 minutes.
Anthony Nash dropped in, comes back out towards Pat O'Connor, spoons it out, but Luke O'Farrell tried to intercept. Back in to help out was Harnedy in there, as well as Patrick Horgan. Makes an angle for himself and puts it over the bar. The first he scored today from play. And now it's 3-6 to 1-7. So 5 points between the teams. But Cork can't afford to keep on giving away goals at one end, because they're only chipping in with points at the other. Not going to be enough.
No, maybe not if it continues like that, but the Cork forwards are playing way better today than they did the last day.
There was a time in the last match when they had only 1 point from play for most of the first half. Pressure on Joyce here, sails over his head, didn't get it. He's marking Colin Ryan, and all of a sudden it's Tony Kelly who gets loose. Joyce gets across to him, and Kelly just doesn't need a second invitation. Lovely score from a wonderfully talented, gifted young hurler. He really has been a vibrant influence on Clare hurling this season. Lovely skill, wonderfully crafted point. 2 between them again, 2 goals that is. Chris Joyce, first touch again, needed a second go, then runs back into O'Donnell, and they're being forced back. Look at this. The welcoming committee of Clare has started with the full forward line essentially, making life very awkward. Up into the air went Lehan. He's doing well over there against Donald O'Donovan.
That looked harsh enough now, both of them going for the ball, but the linesman has come in and given his verdict.
Looks like Cork are going to make a change, and that's Stephen White who's going to come on in place of William Egan. So the first change made by Jimmy Barry Murphy and his selectors to bring in Stephen White now, coming up for just his 4th championship match. 24-year-old from Ballygarvan. Off goes Egan.
Yeah, you'd have to say John Conlon and Colin Ryan started very well, particularly under the puckouts. Colin Ryan, particularly down in front of us here, he's winning a lot of ball, just breaking it down with his hurl, and they're picking up the breaks, and a lot of scores coming off this side.
Well, this is now inside his 55-metre line. Has he got the distance here? He's certainly going for it. Oh, it's a beauty, an absolutely beautiful score. Colin Ryan with a fourth. There is no stopping him.
He's such an integral part of this team, like under the puckouts. He's just breaking the ball, someone is coming around and picking it up, and nearly all the scores have come from this wing here. Diagonal balls coming out from breaking ball that he creates.
In all the matches he's played against Cork this year, and this is match number 6, he's got 48 points against the Rebels, and 38 by my calculation have come from frees. There's a pretty clear message there. Don't do the fouling.
Yeah, he doesn't miss any.
Referee's going to throw this in. Galvin against Daniel Carney. Picked up here by Galvin. Scampers away. Looking for McGrath. That's Conor McGrath. Conor O'Sullivan trying to read the flight of the ball and succeeding. He's had a tough opening quarter to this game. Back it comes here as far as Shane O'Neill, and Cork will now just be trying to hope that they can stay in touch as they did in the drawn final before the half-time break and give themselves a chance for the second 35 minutes. David McInerney's little hand pass across here is short, intercepted by Horgan, and Horgan sees that one end up over the end line and wide. Looked really dangerous for Clare.
Yeah, you'd have to say very well defended. Pat Horgan right through, great shoulder there. He wasn't fouled, held up there by Pat Kelly, and the ball goes wide. You just watch here, Brendan Bugler coming across here, just held him up, and Patrick Kelly held his ground there, stood up very, very well, and danger averted. Great chance there for Cork.
Seemed he was determined to use his stick on that. Could he have squeezed it in with his boot?
Maybe dropped it on the boot, but easier said from up here.
Yeah. Pat Kelly. 7 points between these teams.
That's Colin Ryan again. Just what I was saying there, Ger knocking it down to himself, and away he goes again.
Such a skillful player. Hand pass there was a little errant, but he gets a chance to get it back again. McGrath wasn't anticipating, but one man who's always anticipating is Pat Donlan, giving tremendous leadership. In there as far as Shane O'Donnell. He's caught another one. He seems unstoppable. Good vision to pick out Conlon. And before Carney can arrive, can he get the chance in? He's been fouled, and it's going to be a free for 20 metres out. But they are playing around with the Cork defence there. They're causing major consternation, and Cork just do not seem to have the response.
Well, Shane O'Donnell, great catch in front of Shane O'Neill again. They're playing lovely ball into him, but you know, Shane O'Neill is one of the most accomplished defenders in the country over the last 6 or 7 years, and Shane O'Donnell is just giving them a roasting out there today.
Shane O'Donnell is only 19 years of age. He's from Éire Óg in Ennis, and he is a UCC student, so he knows a lot about Cork and Cork hurling. Must have been frustrated not to get a chance the last day. A young lad, under 21 medal winner already this year. Didn't play last year's team. And 3 goals in this year's replayed final. What a story. Colin Ryan's got his 5th pointed free. 25-year-old. Giving these Clare fans some wonderful early moments in this All-Ireland final. Played in lovely sunshine.
And it just shows you,
September.
Probably 2 best forwards Clare have had all year. Tony Kelly and Podge Collins really haven't seen the ball. It's just the way the game has been going so far, and still they've put up a score of 3-9 in the first 26 minutes.
A long way to go. Here's Brendan Bugler here, and given his debut in the championship by Tony Considine, the former manager. Played back in here, and they go for another one, but this one has gone wide. One of the few wides. Just a second. Colin Ryan, the player, was trying his luck from 65 metres out, but going very nicely in the 27th minute. Galvin again, first to the ball. Cork are going to need a lift from somewhere, needing to stay in the match now, getting up close to half-time. Brian Murphy, one of those experienced campaigners, up as far as Patrick Horgan. In comes Conor Hahn. He's shown very prominently so far. Back out here as far as Cian McCarthy. McCarthy's shot has gone away to the left-hand side, and that's the second shot he's tried, and unfortunately from his point of view failed with his shooting. Jerry,
huge difference in the game is when a Claremont gets the ball, he's looking up and they have time on the ball, they're playing it in front of the forwards, but when a Cork defender gets the ball, he's under so much pressure from the Clare defenders. He's hitting the ball anywhere, they have to fight so hard for the ball up front, and that's what happened there. Eventually good ball out, and Cian McCarthy again, the second poor wide he's had.
Pat Kelly dropping it towards John Conlon's wing. Comes back out here to lock on McLaughlin. Trying to drive Cork forward now. Next 5 minutes important to pick off some scores. Inside towards Cronin, let it bounce off his hand. Back there to gather was Conor Ryan. Wisely playing the ball out towards Podge Collins. Podge Collins keeping the movement going. Pat Donnellan now reading the game brilliantly. Back towards O'Donnell, being marked by Shane O'Neill. O'Donnell again causing problems, trying to steal that ball away from Shane O'Neill. And the 27-year-old playing in his 7th championship season gets it forward eventually towards Luke O'Farrell. Helping it on here is Lachlan McLaughlin. 45 metres out from the Clare goal. Steadies himself, but didn't do enough steadying. And that was a horrible miss on his part. It's 4 wides now by Cork. Put under a lot of pressure, as you say, but that time was a golden opportunity for him to get a second point.
Yeah, there were a couple of bad wides in a row, which, you know, if to put them over, keeps them in the game. But eight points down now, and the fight maybe started to go out of Cork a little bit. You know, you'd feel they need a goal now just to reignite them.
That's broken down once again towards Cian McCarthy. Helped on here by Stephen MacDonald. Fired in there towards Park Cronin. Almost seemed to lose his footing. Being marked by Cian Dillon. The sweeper there at the back effectively is David McInerney. Reading it like an old master. And then playing it down the field here. Cut out this time by the substitute, Stephen White. And White knocks this one in towards Luke O'Farrell, but too near the goalkeeper. It's a hit and hope one. The more measured, more creative play is coming from Clare. And every time they take the ball down into Cork's attack, you feel something could happen. And it might happen here again. Once more, it's Colin Ryan. Tony Kelly trying to help him out. And Cork are just defending now for dear life and getting the ball away and looking for some respite. And what can JVM and the selection committee do? Tough phase in the game now for them. Haven't scored for over 8.5 minutes. Looks worried. Colin Ryan to hit this one. Almost looks calm and composed. Broken down here well. This time it's Conor O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan again in towards Park Cronin. It's one-on-one in there until the reinforcements arrive, and that's Seamus Harnedy. Harnedy slings it over his right shoulder and puts it over the bar. He's a really good, gallant young player, playing in just his 6th championship match, continuing to mature and to grow as a player. Helped out there by Park Cronin, down as far as Harnedy. He had an immense amount of work to do, made an angle for himself, did well, 3-9 to 1-8.
Yeah, lovely sidestep, and he's had a great summer, you know, burst on the scene. And they're going very much route one, Cork, when they get the chance in on top of Park Cronin. He hasn't really caught it, but he is breaking some balls and a few scores coming after.
So 7 points between them once again. Cork trying to close the gap. Clare trying to deny them, and Tony Kelly slipping the hand pass out here to Galvin. Slips on the ground. Taking it up here is Chris Joyce. In as far as Luke O'Farrell, trying to win his battle there with David McInerney. Helped out here by Lachlan McLaughlin. In there as far as Park Cronin has spent the entire match playing it full forward. Looks to put this one inside the left-hand upright. Just half a metre wide, I would say. The fans behind the goal think it was in. They're looking for a Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is going to be used. So was it in? The fans behind the goal thought it was, and the referee James McGrath deciding that technical help is needed. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Jimmy Barry was right on line. I thought it might be over the bar, might have squeezed in, but my eyesight's not as good as it used to be.
Looks to be in. Let's wait for confirmation. A point from Park Cronin, his first of the game.
Yeah, and Jerry, I just feel the last couple of minutes Clare have maybe got a little bit sloppy on the ball. They're maybe just got a bit casual for the last few minutes. The last ball there, Colin Ryan got it. Conor McGrath was free down the wing. He didn't give the ball, and you know, if Cork can pick off another point or two before half time, they'll be happy enough.
Cian McCarthy, back it comes here. Conor O'Sullivan, it's just about reaches Harnedy. Inside towards Park Cronin again. Breaks it down. Dillon having a busy time of it now against Park Cronin. Ball came back out, waiting, and the referee again has blown his whistle. Foul on Cronin, he's decided, and it's got to be a free in. Clare are questioning it. Well, the pointless at this stage, but it's got to mean a free, which Pat Horgan will presumably take. Came into the back of him here.
I think it was
clumsy and awkward, but not necessarily a foul.
Well, that's 3 frees I think that Park Cronin has won, and you'd have to say the 3 of them were very marginal. They're 50-50, and Cork have got the benefit of them, and all of a sudden like the gap is closing again, and you have to say it's a bit like the last day. Cork sticking in the game and staying with Clare when Clare are doing most of the hurling.
Well, they've got quality and skills, this Cork team, no question of doubt about that. When you get to an All-Ireland final, you have to be a very, very good team of players, but they've got great character, immense fighting ability as well, which has endeared them to the fans. Pat Horgan to take this, and Pat Horgan knocks it over the bar. He's got 4. 3 of the 4 have come, and it's 3-9 to 110, or in points, 18 points to 13. 2 minutes to go to half-time.
You know, Joe, we're talking about the sweeper system on. You're Clare were 8 points up a couple of minutes ago. It's down to 5. Would you not bring back the sweeper maybe and just defend your lead and tag on a few points? I know it's a long way out with a half to go, but
I think Davy Fitzgerald is concerned that Cork have the players who could shoot from outside, as it were, from around 45 metres and shoot with accuracy. It's one of the reasons I think he hasn't necessarily gone for it, but maybe he will. It's going to be a free which Anthony Nash will come and take. Out to left half back he will go, and Stephen White will leave it there for him.
yeah, and you have to remember Cork playing with a nice little bit of a breeze. It's not very strong, but it is certainly favouring Cork in the first half.
2 goals and 5 points already scored in this year's championship by the goalkeeper. Comes again. Dropped in there dangerously, well batted out by the Clare defence this time, out as far as Brendan Bugler. Aware that he could be hooked and challenged. Harnedy was the last one, and he's left it behind. Horgan's got it, he stole it away and he put it over the bar. Well, a wonderful bit of pinching that time by Pat Horgan. When that ball came out, Clare looked to have it. It was Bugler who was making his way out, then dispossessed there, left it behind after the ball was intercepted and over the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. No great argument from the Clare players. Even I felt maybe he was fouled coming out there. Daniel Carney came in a little bit high, but only 4 points in it now again. 1
minute of added time being played, which means we've got about another little under 90 seconds still to go. 4 points between the teams, where it was 8 not all that terribly long ago. It's been some first half. 8, nearly 9 minutes since Clare scored. Colin Ryan hoping that Clare will get the last point of this first half, just to stamp their absolute authority on it. It's stolen again. Brian Murphy this time, nipping in. The 31-year-old got to that, didn't get a free after that. The referee allowed it to develop and continue. It comes out to Podge Collins, and Podge Collins trying to get space for himself. Clare wanted to finish with a score, and Clare people thought there was a foul there on Collins, which wasn't given, and it comes back as far as Anthony Nash, and both sets of supporters are rather puzzled decisions, but out it comes anyway, out of defence. Brilliantly caught there by Conor Ryan, trying to feed it to a colleague here. Well into stoppage time, just a few seconds remaining in this first half. Cork have it back, and it's Cian McCarthy once again. Back in there, read superbly by Pat O'Connor, the highly durable left half back. Then there, as far as Brendan Bugler is switched across. Ryan once again, that's Conor Ryan, into the inside forwards. Shane O'Neill determined he was going to win the next ball, but he's left his man behind. And here comes O'Donnell. He's got 3 goals. Can he possibly get 4 before half-time? Closed down well by the Cork defenders this time. Takes 2. Shane O'Neill helped out, and then Conor O'Sullivan came across, got it, knocked the ball away. The referee has blown his whistle, I think, and it's half-time at Croke Park. The referee signalling that that is it for the opening half. A half where the name of Shane O'Donnell pretty much rings around the stadium here. Goals after 6 minutes, 13 minutes and 19 minutes. A response by Anthony Nash, a goal from a 20-metre free. An absolute blaster after 16 minutes of play. There's so much to talk about at half-time. Who's going to do the business in the second half? Half-time score, it's Clare, 3 goals and 9 points. Cork, 1 goal and 11. Michael and the panel have plenty to dwell on. We'll be doing all of that right after this.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship. Morning time. The electorate is perhaps looking for that.
Tell me about your own experience.
Why should they believe you when you got previous in regard to money and playing things by the book?
Lunchtime.
And here's one of those great blues songs.
The whole drugs thing and the whole crime thing, it seems to be getting even more ruthless.
Break time.
You tried Facebook, you went everywhere.
Do you put more low-fat milk in your coffee?
Drive time. Would you have told them that the tapes existed? Night time.
12 and reviews now.
From morning till night. RTE Radio 1. Your day, your radio.
Dedication, loyalty.
You guys are getting better at this, yeah. Next week, buddy.
Friendship. The choices we make reveal the true nature of our character. Discover the power of the One Ring through Howard Shaw's music of The Lord of the Rings. Beneath an immense screen, full orchestra and chorus will bring the music of Middle-earth uniquely to life.
This October, the journey ends. Don't miss the RTE Concert Orchestra and Chorus perform the final epic motion picture, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, live at the O2. Tickets on sale now. For more, see rte.ie/CO.
Right now, Liberty Insurance are giving you the chance to win €10,000 for your local GAA or Camogie club. Simply get a new private motor or home quote at libertygaa.ie. Get behind your club now at libertygaa.ie.
Time in the 2013 All-Ireland Hurling Final Replay. Clare leading Cork 3 goals and 9 points to 1 goal and 11 points. And just a reminder to you that that is a 4-point advantage to Clare. Cyril Farr, Liam Sheedy, Eddie Brennan here with me in studio. Cyril, replays often don't live up to the expectation from the drawn game, which was so exciting. No fear of that on this occasion.
Unbelievable, Michael. I thought now that it couldn't, you know what I mean, it couldn't last it. But again, we have score after score, goal after goal, points, 3 a minute, like young Shane O'Donnell being brought in for Derek O'Connor was slightly injured. He gets 3 goals, not 1, not 2, 3. But even getting them goals, like Cork are still in the game, like you know, Cronin's going in the edge of the square, caused a lot of trouble. Both sets of backs, when they get on the ball, are doing kind of daft things with under pressure maybe. But there's something fantastic score. Cork have hung in with points from Pat Horgan, Conor Lehan, typical Cork, like not playing that well out of the game, but yet they're only down to 4 points at half time. They've taken the bullets from Clare. It's a kind of a reversal of the last day really. And they're hanging in. Now, I'd say Clare were quite happy to get to half time, the 4 points up, because the last 9 or 10 minutes I don't think they were scoring at all. There was no ball they were actually winning their puck outs at all. So like it'll be interesting the second half again. Now Clare are in the driving seat. It's still anyone's game, because to me both sets of forwards are causing trouble. Even though Clare have got 3 goals and Cork the forwards are causing trouble to the Clare backs as well. It's like a game where you're going to get a couple of more goals.
Well, there's every chance of that. Both sets of forwards might be causing trouble, even. There's one forward in particular causing a bit of trouble out there. Walter Walsh came on and was man of the match last year in the replay for Kilkenny, and this like Shane O'Donnell, he has given Cork some problems.
Yeah, he has. I mean, but in fairness, his teammates have done very well for him as well.
Yes.
I have to say, you know, the first 2 goals that he got. But I mean, you know, we spoke about the great, you know, Clare looking for a good start at the start of the match, and you know, in fairness to them, they got it again today. You know, they got that 5 points up after 7 minutes. And here's Pat Donlan. You wouldn't say there's much on, but like, you know, all day long, the Cork half back line to me would be non-existent. You know, here's a man coming straight through the middle. No one comes to meet him. There's no way a player should be allowed to come that far. He gives a wonderful pass out to Shane O'Donnell, and he get, in fairness to Anthony Nash, he gives you no chance because he actually hit the ball off of the ground. But you can see Pat Donlan right through the middle, wonderful hand pass and a fantastic finish. And you know, in fairness to Clare, they've looked very, very busy in that forward line. But what it's meant is that the Cork backs are hurling nervous in that first half. You know, they're hurling very, very nervous. And They're very, very jittery. They're not attacking the ball. Shane O'Neill, who was one of the best defenders in my eyes to attack the ball, hasn't been attacking the ball. Here's a routine ball. Conor O'Sullivan missed it. In fairness to Conor McGrath again, very, very unselfish. Right man, right place. Shane O'Donnell, wonderful finish again. I mean, it was a textbook start for Clare, and as I said, gave them that cushion. And you know, it looked at that stage it was going to be a rout. But you know, you have to say full credit to the Rebels. You know, they haven't gone away. You know, they've sort of dragged themselves back in. But you would say that Clare have been the better team in that first half.
Davy, delighted with that. Cork really needed something. Anthony Nash came forward for them, Eddie. We will have a look at the free that led to this, but the free itself then was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen in hurling.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever again we'll see
a free?
Like
Was this a free thing?
It's, you know, it's one of those things where defenders and forwards are jockeying for position. I've been part of it, but look at this. This is something you're likely never to see on a hurling field ever again. You know, we talk about the Irish rugby team doing a 15-man line-out. Look at this. There's probably 12 Clare people in there, and you're saying if Anthony Nash is to convert that, he needs to get it about crossbar, and he done that, and he got right in there.
But look how far in he goes with it, and the point was being made in an article in the paper today. There was no defined rule against him doing that.
No, there's not.
If he was able to throw it far enough, he could have thrown it all the way to the goal.
The rule for the defenders is they have to stay on the line. They can't come close. So it's something that's opened up to debate. I think Vincent Hogan is writing about it today as well, saying that it's a matter that it should be the alarm bells ringing off. But fair play to Anthony Nash. Pressure again, and that was an absolute bullet. I don't think they even seen it. But Cork certainly it was the lifeline. I think they needed the electric shock at that stage to get them back in gear, and they got it.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Sir Liam was making the point there about the Cork half back line being in trouble. They made a change to the half back line. You would think then they couldn't fall for another one, and they did.
Yeah, there wasn't that much ball into the Clare forwards, but when they went into it was a lovely crossfield ball. They're very confident on the ball, and they're very, very natural. Here's again a crossfield ball here again. You'd imagine they're going to come to here, breaks here. Look, another little flick up. Now he's a terrible lot to do here. This is called the tennis score, really. It's a great finish. There's two backs on. Look what he has. He has nowhere to swing. He hasn't anywhere you can't hand pass it, or even to kick the ball. Now he's only a young fella, 19 years, but look what he does. Little flick down, just like a playing tennis, into the back net. Again, Anthony Nash, who is a top keeper, cannot do anything about it. Two backs on him here. Like, it's unbelievable to think that he has 3 goals in a point. Now watch this. Throws it up, down. You can't block. Nash comes. It's probably his best goal, because it wasn't as clear cut as the other 2 chances.
But I think it was one of the downsides of having a guy like Shane O'Neill fullback, because Shane O'Neill's natural instinct was actually to go outwards.
Yes.
If a natural fullback, he would have said, right, I need to mind the house here. Yeah. The most important thing there was to hold your goal. Even if the ball broke out that side, it was going to be no danger. The ball was outside, but he actually was caught completely on the wrong side of Shane O'Donnell. And as I said, a great finish, as Sir rightly pointed out, was a wonderful finish by Shane. I mean, 3 goals in a point, and he's not even supposed to start today.
And that's that. Okay, we are halfway there, but there's still a lot of hurling to be done before we can say whether the cup is heading Lee side or heading Shannon side. The second half coming up shortly.
You're hiding something, Miss Matheson, and when we find out what it is, we're gonna put the whole lot in jail.
You're off your lithium, aren't you?
I am, but it's all good. I feel good.
The plan is to take them all out at once.
That way we get everybody before they warn each other.
And Brody, he's on the kill list.
You are doing great harm to your country, which you will pay for, I promise you.
Less than 48 hours after its first transmission in the States, RTE2 brings you the new season of Homeland, starting Tuesday at 9.
Lucozade Sport Club Crusade is back, and it's even better. This year, your club will get free match and training kits and clothing in exchange for Lucozade Sport bottle caps. So get your club registered, start collecting those bottle caps, and get quality gear for your club. Register your club today at lucozadesport.ie.
straight into the sun. Little crowd, get into the crowd. Better place I found.
The power to catch a speeding bullet with one hand. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
Keep an eye out later for our final big competition of the season here on the programme. There is a trip to Abu Dhabi and plenty of spending money in the offering, and that's all after today's match has finished. Roy Keane here supporting the Cork men once again. He was looking a little bit pensive earlier on. Maybe he heard the result from Old Trafford. United beaten at home by West Brom. Just a reminder here at Croke Park at half-time, Clare leading Cork 3 goals and 9 points to 1 goal and 11 points. Let's get some further thoughts on the hurling replay as we head back down to the touchline to hear from Clare McNamara.
Yes, Michael, I have two men here from the Countess and they're both full of hope still, I think. Tomas, Cork chasing the game again today. You were 8 points down, but now only 4.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the first day. This time out in ground, Clare have taken those chances. The change of the full forward has worked a treat. Shane O'Donnell in the edge of the square. This time the possession that Clare are getting in front of goal, they're actually paying they're getting the scores and getting the goals. And I mean, at one stage being 8 points down, it looked like a game over. But to be fair to Cork, they've rallied. They've kept fighting. They've kept getting the points. The Anthony Nash goal was a major tonic for us because we were in deep trouble. We were in deep trouble in our full back line, areas of our half back line, midfield, and there seemed to be an awful lot of bunching up and forward. We were playing Park Ronan kind of in between full forward and the centre forward position, and we need to open the game. We need to keep it wide. Conor Lehan got 1 or 2 balls that he ran at defenders because it was open and it was wide. So I mean, one thing is we were in a similar position. Cork were in a similar position in the draw match. 2 points down. They're 4 points down now. They're still in the game, but we need to start the second half much better than we did the last time. We need to take the game to Clare now at this stage, but it's about Clare's game now at this stage.
Shane O'Donnell, that was a good call anyway. Again though, this day Clare are in charge. They need to make that count.
Well, sure, we couldn't have even dreamt of an explosive start like that. It came in so well in the first 20 minutes. Now what really worries me, Clare, is in the last 10 minutes, that 10 minutes before half-time virus has struck Clare again, where they faded out of the game. 8 points up after 25 minutes. Now it's down to 4. So really you're back to square one again. So now Cork will be looking and say, listen, we're right back in this game. Whoever gets the next goal now. So it's vital that Clare start the second half like they start the first half. Keep the one man full forward inside and keep the ball open. But the Clare half back line need to tidy up. They need to tighten up on their men, 4 across that line, and the ball isn't being won as cleanly as it was in the semi-final. They need to get that act together. If they do, Clare will win the game.
Okay, Tomas, Ger, thank you. We cannot wait for the second half, Michael.
We certainly can't, Clare. Too much of that first half, you would have to say, Sir Farrell, that Cork were just living on scraps. The blows they were taking, those goals going in, they were just hanging, but they did hang in there. Got a couple of points here and there. Yeah. They just kept them at it.
Typical of Cork, any little chance they got. The boys were even saying before that there were 7 or 8 down, they needed a score to just keeping it. And when they got the chance of points, the likes of Conor Lehan, Pat Horgan, these boys, Seamus Hart, they got them just over there, and now, like, instead of being 8 or 9 down, now they're only 4 down. The last day there was 2 points that Clare done a lot of hurling. This stage, Clare in a stronger position since they're 4 up. It's double what they were up, and if they start the second half well, but you can't let Cork back in, like Joe referred to it there. Definitely, even though the Cork backs are under pressure, the Clare backs are under as much pressure because every time the ball goes in, even though the ones are clearing, there seems to be panic, and a few times they're on the ball and there's turnovers. Cork have got 3 points from turnovers from Clare, had possession of Clare that didn't. So whoever again. Clare to win have to start the first 10 minutes well to take the game to Cork.
Cork back out, as we can see out of the field, just waiting for Clare. Okay, Cyril makes the point that Clare are leading by more than they were the last day, but they'll be thinking to themselves, surely leading by 4, they should be leading by 14.
Yeah, they should. I mean, they should be out of sight. In my view, they were by far the better team. But if I was in the Clare dressing room, I'd be very happy in terms of the position they find themselves in. At the end of the day, they're 4 points up. They'd have taken that before the match. If you were told coming in they'd be 4 points up at half time, I'm sure they'd be very, very happy. I mean, their forward line are potent at this stage. If they get the ball in, they're well on top. In fairness to Stephen White, he has steadied the ship a little bit. He's gone in on John Conlon. John Conlon was having a massive game. But overall, I think at this stage it still is Clare's to lose. And if they want to get a start, anything like they got in the first half, they'll be out of sight within the next 10 minutes. But Cork, you'd expect them to give a big 10 minutes. So again, 4 points, a nice cushion. I still expect Clare to hold on.
All right, you can see a change in the Cork team there, by the way. Stephen Moylan comes in, he replaces Luke O'Farrell. Okay, time to hand back to Michael Duignan and Ger Canning.
Thank you, Michael. Well, that means that Cork have now used, of course, 2 of their possible substitutions. And the Cork medical officer was telling me that his son Brian is one of those all around the globe watching today. He's in Sydney, and a friend in London, Catherine Holhan, also watching. Hope you're all enjoying it. You are if you're from Clare, you can be sure, because they're 4 ahead, 8 points up after 25 minutes. Now who's going to get the next score in this match? It's Lorcan McLaughlin straight away, and challenged high there. Challenges by John Conlon, I think, and it's going to be a free for Cork, and they've brought Patrick Horgan all the way out to midfield to take this.
Yeah, Jared, very early in the second half with a huge, really a huge free now. Like Clare were 8 points up. If Pat Horgan scores this, it's back to 3. And,
just an indication of the breeze. It's not that terribly strong.
No, I think it might have died a little bit, but Pat Horgan very much said to Anthony Nash he was coming out to take it. But as I said, 8 points will be down to 3 if he puts this over, and that's some comeback. Cork.
John Conlon gets the yellow card for that foul straight at the second half. And Horgan, who got 5 points in the first half, tries his luck with this one. It was a fair distance out. He's missed it anyway, put it away to the right. First one of the second half, and the 5th in all for Cork. Cork hoping now to try and up their physical approach in the second half, you can be certain. But it was Clare who were the dominant force throughout most of the first half and should be further ahead. That yellow card for John Conlon then, so he has to be careful. In midfield, Daniel Carney loses it, and out comes Podge Collins, feeding it here as far as Tony Kelly, right on the sideline, trying to get loose here, and he does so, succeeds brilliantly, got a lovely bit of force behind that, brilliant accuracy. He's some Clare. 2 points for Kelly, and Clare have got the first score of the second half.
Yeah, Jared, that's an incredible score. Look, on the sideline, nothing on, 3 Cork men around him, and he cuts back inside, and there's very, very few players in the game could take a score like that. What a player for a 19-year-old.
Well, they've got a crop of wonderfully talented young players. Under 21 champions 09, and in that 12 and 13, of course, as well. That's Cian Dillon put under pressure, needs a bit of help, and Pat Donlan playing like a wise old head. He's only 28 years of age with a lot of experience. Conor O'Sullivan now trying to pick out the perfect pass all the way down towards the full forward line. It's Horgan who got it, balanced it beautifully, and he is fouled, and it's got to be a free in, and this should go over and be Cork's first score of the second half and put 4 between them again. Or are they going to think about the goalkeeper? They're thinking about Nash. That's the big cheer you can hear in the background. Anything on the 20-metre line or close to it now at this stage. They're thinking about it, but they've told him to go back. He was on his way out.
Yeah, but Jared, just before that, the piece of skill by Pat Horgan there, that ball was coming down out of the clouds. Great first touch, and brought in, and he was trying to bring the ball onto the 21-yard free for the free and calling up Anthony Nash, but the referee brought it back a couple of yards and he just tapped it over the bar.
He's done exactly that. So first of the second half for him and for Cork, 6 points for Pat Horgan. And now there's got to be another change, and the familiar figure of Tom Kenny has got to come on to try and maybe add a steadying influence. So off goes Daniel Carney. He was a real star in the drawn match, not as prominent today, and Kenny on as a direct replacement. And Kenny's gone into midfield, 31-year-old, 53 championship appearances in all for him. A very experienced man, the most experienced of the Cork team in there now. Lorcan McLaughlin passes it back, it almost puts Conor O'Sullivan in difficulty, and they play around to try and get themselves out of trouble, and they succeed with Shane O'Neill. Very determined burst out of the back there, in over the head of Conor Lehan, gathered up well by David McInerney for Clare. Back into the heart of the Cork defence again. Stephen MacDonald back down. Oh, what a catch that is, brilliantly taken by Conor Ryan. One of the best catches of the match so far. Batted back out again. Tom Kenny back out into the middle, out as far as Brendan Bogley here, pursued by Lorcan McLaughlin. Batted back out here, it's Brian Murphy who's now back there in that Cork full back line, helping out Conor O'Sullivan. Murphy's there, Shane O'Neill and Conor O'Sullivan. That's the makeup really of the Cork full back line for the second half. O'Donnell's gone out into the half back line. Meanwhile, Stephen Moylan hits it and puts it over the bar. Will he be the star of this match? His dad was the man of the match in the 1976 All-Ireland final, Cork against Wexford, and he's come on as a sub at half-time and he's put it over.
Yeah, lovely tidy scored. Here's Conor Ryan just before that fantastic catch, which you'd have to say the Cork backs in the last 15 minutes really have got on top of the Clare forwards. They're cleaning up, they're picking up all the breaking ball, and they're doing very, very well, and Cork are really back in this game now with every chance.
Once again it is Conor O'Sullivan. Again he looks around to try and lay it off. It's his first instinct to always retain the possession, not just give it away helter-skelter downfield. Sometimes perhaps it's a better option, but he's very careful and very cautious about how he uses possession. That's Pat O'Connor trying to get the ball out of defence for Clare. One back by Cian McCarthy, looking for a better second half now. Into space here. Cian Dillon wins the race. Doesn't get the ball, however. Patrick Cronin is there alongside him. A little pile up of bodies. Hannity went down, and the referee has given Cork the free, and you can judge by the booing of the Clare fans. They don't agree with it one little bit. And Davy Fitzgerald wants to add his weight as well to the argument that it shouldn't have been a free there, and the ball has been moved in now, and the referee's telling Davy Fitz, off you go there. So James McGrath not endearing himself to David Fitzgerald, the manager, who's seen his team concede a free and now is in a better scoring position for Pat Horgan to hit. 6 so far for him. The margin's 3 points at this stage. Remember, it was 4 at the break. It was 8 at one stage during the first half. He should be able to get it back down to 2 here. And it's anybody's match, in spite of the fact that Clare got 3 goals from Shane O'Donnell in the first half. He's taking a long time over it, Pat Horgan, giving himself every opportunity and putting it over the bar. Some final, 3-10 to 114, but this was very controversial, and Davy Fitzgerald certainly felt that the bodies just fell over there.
Yeah, absolutely, but you know, he's saying there David freeze, but he has to keep the head now. The reality is Clare were 8 points up and they're relaxed. Cork have come back to 2 points. They're right back in this game, and Clare need now to get a grip somewhere around the middle of the field, but Cork doing all the hurling at the moment. A great first touch by Colin Ryan.
Absolutely brilliantly done. Back it comes as far as the midfielder, Colm Galvin. This would be a score to try and settle them down. He doesn't get it, puts it wide. And that is 5 wides now for Clare. They're first of the second half. 3-10 to 114. Louis Mulqueen there, one of the selectors, having a word with Davy Fitzgerald. Well, he has a terrific ability, Fitzgerald, to blend the skills of a talented group into what he hopes will be a winning All-Ireland combination. A lot of work to do yet. They had the lead, they still have it, and Cian McCarthy trying to do something about it for Cork, but cut out brilliantly. Stopped at the pass, really, by David McInerney, and then trying to pick out a collie, but the ball across to Bolt Bugler, just a little bit too long. Line ball to Cork. Clare getting a little bit edgy and frustrated in their approach at this stage. Could be playing into Cork's hands.
Yeah, and Jeremy talked about the tackling of the Cork forwards in the first, or the Clare forwards in the first half. But the Cork forwards, they're great tackling coming out there. David McInerney held up and he was forced really to put the ball out over the line.
It's got to be Cian McCarthy who's got to take it. Teddy, his dad, of course, won 2 All-Ireland medals in the 1 year. Big one in. Pat O'Connor tried to reach for it, everybody tried to get to it. Runs away, and eventually David McInerney emerges with possession. What a brilliant first season he's had at championship level, all the way through the centre here. Shane O'Neill, the other number 3. Happy to see that one picked up by Conor O'Sullivan. Good combined play in the end. Stephen MacDonald in the half-back line. Kept in play here by Cian McCarthy, diagonally in there, putting the pressure back on the Clare backs in this All-Ireland final replay. Coming to you live from Croke Park. In there is Seamus Hannity, can't quite get to it. Again, it's Cian Dillon showing his strength and his resolution, but stymied in his actions to try and get the ball away. Coming out there was Moylan, in came McLaughlin, and that's put into the goalkeeper, and Pa Kelly drives it a mile, the proverbial mile, putting the pressure back on. Stephen MacDonald collects, Tony Kelly comes in to challenge, MacDonald's away, he's got a support player if he needs him. Joyce was looking for it, he was just yards away from him. In came the Clare backs. McGrath back there acting as an auxiliary half-back. Challenge once again there by Stephen Moylan. Helter-skelter stuff. And in the end, the referee says too many steps were taken, and he's given the free against Clare. And so Cork have a chance of getting another score. Remember, they're 2 behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge work by Conor McGrath, first of all, and then the referee judges him to take too many steps. Cork really all the momentum with them now. What a comeback. Game looked over earlier on in the first half, and now there's only a point in the game, is there?
Pat Horgan puts over another one. 8 points for Patrick Horgan. 310 to 115 means in points. Clare 19, Cork 18. Some comeback. He will be delighted. Side showing tremendous character. Clare with just 1 point so far in the second half, which is nearly 10 minutes in. Cork, by comparison, have scored 4. And they come again. Clare trying to deny them. Brendan Bogner, his side realising they need a point. They need a score to settle them down. And Galvin's on his shoulder. Kenny's after Galvin. Galvin trying to get in. Kenny trying to stop him. Eventually they run out of road. Shane O'Neill there. Galvin trying to get it back. Brian Murphy has it right on his own end line. Hersies fly away. Out it comes here as far as Shane O'Neill. Slipping the hand pass down. McLaughlin coming on to it. Holds his feet, retains his balance and control, but gives it away then in the end with that pass as far as Conor McGrath. And Conor McGrath drops it in. It should be Nash's, and it is, and there's no pressure on him whatsoever. And Anthony Nash, the teacher in Mitchelstown CBS, playing in his 12th championship game, belts it away downfield. It's broken down here as far as Seamus Harnedy. Tries to get it in. Stopped there by Brendan Bogler. What a turn by Bogler to get it away. The Whitegate man drives it in. It's stopped here by Conor O'Sullivan. What a passage of play. In the end, the referee says 2 minutes. Steps taken. He's been severe on that in the last couple of minutes here. Well, this time ruling against Cork.
I think some of the decisions in the last few minutes. First of all, Seamus Harnedy nearly took the head off Brendan Bogler coming out there. It should have been a free where the ball landed. And then Conor O'Sullivan, I think they was making up for maybe not giving the free. Great play here by Conor O'Sullivan. Yeah, he did maybe take a step or two in fairness to the ref, but it should have been a free in the first place, and Seamus Harnedy should be in the book for that tackle.
Colin Ryan is ready to take it. Harnedy got away with the foul, and so there can be 2 between them again. Oh, he's put it off the post, but it almost came for Podge Collins. Might come yet. O'Donnell, the goal scorer in the first half, all 3 goals scored by him. Cork got away with it. It's a miss by Colin Ryan, and there's still just a 1-point game here in an absolute thriller at Croke Park. Away out of defence there by Stephen MacDonald for Cork. Cian Dillon has it stolen from him. Taken up here once again by Park Cronin. Slipping the hand pass there as far as Harnedy. Back to Tom Kenny again. And the veteran holds possession. Plays it back as far as MacDonald. They tried to hold on and nurse the ball here and hold on to it. And get it into a scoring position for Patrick Horgan. And Horgan has put it wide and is furious with himself.
Yeah, with the pressure getting to both teams, Gerald. Colin Ryan, we said he doesn't miss frees, and missed one straight in front of the goals there. And then Pat Horgan, you'd bet the last few quid in your pocket he'd stick that over the bar, and he missed an easy chance. But what a game of hurling, Gerald. What an All-Ireland final. Clare 3 goals in the first 15 minutes. Shane O'Donnell 8 points up, and next thing Cork looked beaten, and they come back now a point in it at anybody's game. But Clare, they'd have to say all the momentum with Cork at the moment.
Looked like they were getting Dara Conan up out of the subs bench there. 11 minutes since Clare scored. Had one off the post, as you saw from that free. Conor McGrath now turning beautifully, losing possession. Referee not too far away, so it all is perfectly legitimate. It says play on. It's stolen away from you. Out of defence it comes. Back once again come Clare to try and get it, but Horgan wins that battle. Little flick there from Harnedy. Horgan tries to get it again. Stopped there by David McInerney, number 3 for Clare, trying to win possession. 45 metres from his own end line, he's got it, and he was being held back, and he's won the free. Tremendous play, tremendous work by David McInerney from Tulla. Just 20 years ago. Here he is, and he was caught as he was coming out here.
Just a little hold back there by Seamus Harnedy, who worked so hard. And Donald O'Donovan, who scored a winning point, I don't think we've seen him on the ball today. And the last day he was on the ball all over the place in the first half and scored a winning point. And it's just that type of game. It's helter-skelter. It's all over the place.
And it's going to be Colin Ryan now. You may remember in the draw match 3 weeks ago, he missed 2 frees, but then he showed what a great nerve he had. He stayed with the frees, and he got a few more after that, and he was very much the hero. 11 pointed frees, 12 points in all his tally.
I think Shane O'Donnell could be going off here. He seems to be limping a little bit.
I think you're right. Shane O'Donnell is...
and Dara Conan is only warming up. He hasn't even put his helmet on yet. He's still in a bib there. So
they're bringing on there is number 21, and that's Fergal Lynch. So the 30, it's a blood sub, we understand. So this free is taken short. Now clever play by Clare. They're trying to vary it, maybe too clever. Tony Kelly couldn't take it. Was he anticipating? Stephen MacDonald got it. And in the end, the referee decides that Clare committed the foul. And Tony Kelly, I think, just feeling the frustration of all of this. He's only 19 years of age. I'm not sure that was such a very wonderful idea, that last free.
No, but normally his first touch is so good, and he'll argue he just held him up there. You know, you'd wonder what was the free for. He didn't seem to do anything. But you'd have to say Steve MacDonald having a fantastic second half. He's really set the tone for Cork.
Second guessing why frees are awarded is not exactly something we're able to do from here. Anyway, play is going to continue, and the referee is satisfied. It'll be a Cork free from out there where that offence occurred. Clare still leading by a point. And now we have some 20 minutes left in this final. There would be extra time, by the way. Huge one in. Drop down there into the teeth of that Clare defence. They tried to get it out here. It's McInerney who's trying to roll it up. It's Bugler who's got it, and Bugler is the one who has fouled. Fouled earlier on when he got the ball away. That's Clare's second free of the second half they've been awarded. Cork have been awarded 5, incidentally, because they made a big issue, as it often happens after major matches. How many frees did the other team not get?
Yeah, I think a little bit of confusion with some of the frees on both sides, but usually they balance out. But you know, certainly some of them look a bit soft.
He's back on. 3-goal hero from the first half, and Fergal Lynch, school teacher from Quinn, is the one who makes way. He was just a blood substitute, but he may get a chance later on to come on. We're going to see number 23 coming on, and 23 is Cathal McInerney. Dropped in there dangerously, bounces awkwardly, picked up by Christopher Joyce. Joyce with O'Donnell after him, helped out here by Stephen MacDonald, the Cork player. Onto it comes Tom Kenny, again slipping it low down in here. Now that time there appeared to be a nudge. Park Cronin went down, looks at the referee pleadingly. So I have to say, it's been happening plenty of times in the past, but he has got some frees.
I think
again,
he slipped there. There was very little contact, and that's a yellow card. I think that's for persistent fouling, but for Cian Dillon there, and that's 4 frees now that Pat Horgan has won, and certainly that one looked very, very soft. But you have to say, Clare have scored 1 point in the second half so far. You know, Cork have done all the hurling. Clare, I think, just got a grip in the last 5 minutes to stop the rot a little bit, but certainly you need to say they need a score or two now just to really settle them. So many young players, and they seem to be losing their nerve.
So 9, or is it 9 points? Yes, it is. Clare are pleading that one was wide. 9 points, and the teams have drawn level. Wonderful shooting by Patrick Horgan. Great comeback by Cork in the second half. Clare frustrated and annoyed by a number of the frees that have been given against their side. And as Michael was saying, they've only scored 1 point in nearly 18 minutes of the second half so far. Now, can they prevent a collapse here? Teams level. Brian Murphy. It's anybody's game. Chris Joyce sets off. Pursued here by Podge Collins. Everybody's after him. Still managed to get it in as far as Cronin against Cian Dillon, trying to flick the ball up here. Dillon's on yellow. Back it comes here towards Harnedy once more. Over his left shoulder. It's going to drop well short and well wide of the target anyway. And Pa Kelly can begin the counter-offensive here. Big one in towards Shane O'Donnell. Gets away from Shane O'Neill. Onto it he comes, threatens danger. O'Neill's on the ground, and O'Donnell composes himself and fires it up and over the bar. 3 goals and 2 points now for Shane O'Donnell, the youngster from Éire Óg. And it means Clare go back in front again. And it's Clare's first score since the 37th minute.
And you know, if a point can be worth more than a point, it can't be, but that's a huge score for Clare. You know, they're really first bit direct hurl in the second half, and O'Donnell won the ball well and a great score.
Looked like it was going away from him. Knocked back come Cork, and Conor Lehane. Lehane shortens the grip in the stick and puts it over the bar. No, he doesn't. He's put it wide. Cork fans were cheering. He's put it wide. He missed it. And Clare remain in front by 20 points to 19, or 3-11 to 1-16.
Yeah,
so
great
that
catch.
is a seventh wide for Cork.
Sorry, Ger, but great catch by Conor Lehane, and I thought he was going to head for the goals there, you know, with the pace he has, and he just said he'd tap it over the bar and a bit casual and hit it wide.
So on comes number 23 for Cork, and that is Cathal Naughton, and it's Cian McCarthy is going off. So Jimmy Barry Murphy ringing the changes here. It'll be a totally different style of approach now. Cathal Naughton, of course, will try and get the ball and run at that Clare defence and create scoring opportunities. And there the Cork player Stephen Moylan saying he was chopped down, appealing to the referee. Doesn't appear he's going to get anything. Physio in there quickly to have a look at him there. Declan O'Sullivan feeling his hands still. Play continues. Comes in towards Cathal McInerney, the Clare substitute, helped out by Conor McGrath, trying to steal inside. Moylan's after him, right across towards John Conlon, who got the first point of this final, and who now could get the latest, and he has, and now that might certainly begin to settle things down. O'Donnell getting one, O'Connellan getting one, and now there are two between them.
Yeah, and a tactic of Clare's earlier, the quick line ball. I think Stephen Moylan did get a nice tap in the elbow there from John Conlon going for that line ball, but a great ball across the field there from Conor McGrath, who I think has been absolutely fantastic for Clare, and John Conlon turns it over the bar.
Big one straight down the centre, great catch by Harnedy, and on as far as Naughton. Cathal, two or three players around him, one of them is Donnellan, off he goes, 21 minutes into the second half, little block on it, goalkeeper comes out here, and Pa Kelly can take control and start all over again and belt it down towards John Conlon. Clare by 2 at this critical stage of the All-Ireland final replay. Repulsed, out it comes as far as the Cork midfielder, and away it goes to Tom Kenny, and Kenny hits it down off the post, and Pa Kelly comes, gathers and plays it away. Both sides have hit a post during this match. There was a push in the back. Stephen White this time appeared to be the guilty party against John Conlon, and Davy Fitzgerald in there to try and make the referee's.
There's no argument there, but a great goalkeeping by Pa Kelly. You can see there the nudge clearly on the back. But I was watching Pa Kelly when that ball was coming in. It was turning in the wind, and he never took his eye off it, as if he anticipated hitting the post. And very, very good goalkeeping.
From the shot by Tom Kenny. Kenny looking for a long-range point. During his illustrious career, he scored just one goal, the midfielder Tom Kenny, and that was against Wexford back in 2004. Again, a little chat between David Fitzgerald and Louis Mulqueen, considering further changes maybe. This is Clare's 7th free, and it's taken here by Colin Ryan. And Colin Ryan, with this second half free, has put it away to the right, and it's a missed opportunity to stretch the lead even more. 2 points between the teams, 57 minutes in.
And Ger, that's 2 frees in the second half. You know, that's a very difficult chance, but with that wind he has the distance, and he missed a handier one earlier on, and you know, they could be vital to come the end of the game.
Who can put in the big finish now? Advantage Clare at this stage. They got it back again with Podge Collins standing on his own 65-metre line, stopped by Stephen MacDonald. Much happier out around the half-back line. He's got on a lot of ball, got in a lot of interventions, but it's stolen away by Clare again, and Conor McGrath once more shows his raiding ability. They try to stop him. Stephen White's number 20 collides in on top of him. No question about the free in this time. And a chance to put 3 points between the teams. This was a great run.
He's had a powerful game. Like, his work rate is unbelievable. He'd obviously be that's a foul obviously by Stephen White, but he's obviously more dangerous close to the goals, but the role he plays for Clare, he covers an awful lot of ground out the field. He's tackling, he's carrying the ball when he gets a chance. Vital, and a great tackling by John Conlon there as well before that on Stephen MacDonald, and took possession of him.
So after that foul, after that yellow card on Stephen White, it's Colin Ryan who's missed a couple. Now this from 20 metres out is pretty straightforward, and he puts it over. First point he's put over in the second half. 6 points in all, 3 points between them. That man and that little fellow there, all very, very happy, ready to celebrate. Will it be a banner victory? They lead by 3, and Clare have made a change, and Nicky O'Connell is coming on, number 20, and it's Podge Collins, who hasn't scored today, hasn't been terribly involved, is the one who goes off. Here's a chance. Lehane stopped. 3 men ready for it. Harnedy scores. first ever championship goal for Seamus Harnedy, coming in the 60th minute. And so with 10 minutes to go in the All-Ireland final, the teams are level once again. Look at the number of players waiting for it, and Harnedy was the one who availed of the opportunity after such good work by Conor Lehan. Hit that one, came back off the defender and buried in the back of Pa Kelly's net.
I'd have to say lovely play by Conor Lehan, great first touch and a great save then first of all, but Harnedy has had a fantastic match for Cork. His work rate and his application all day has been immense. He's 1-2 now on the board, and now draw match again after 60 minutes.
Some fantastic performances.
There's no separating these two teams.
These sides,
unbelievable
really.
match again today.
Absolutely. Out they come once more. Harnedy waits, takes it up. Across here, Moylan's looking for it, can't get to it. That's a fabulous catch by Donald O'Donovan. You were saying you weren't seeing an awful lot of him. Well, here he goes. Stephen Moylan from Douglas is after him. He hooks him. Again, it's Donald O'Donovan, the Clonlara player. Slipped inside here, in as far as Cathal McInerney in this thrilling match. Back towards Colin Ryan, elegantly striking it, but inaccurately so as well. And a missed opportunity, and another one has gone a-begging. It stays at 3-13 for Clare, 2-16 for Cork, 22 points apiece. We got 10 minutes to go. Who's going to win it?
Well, I would like to call it now, Ger, but some comeback by Cork. You'd have to say they had the momentum. Then Clare steadied the ship, got a couple of points up, and then the goal again from Cork is huge at this stage.
This is a super collect here by Cian Dillon. Collected it beautifully, flights it forward here towards Cathal McInerney. In goes Conor O'Sullivan, but emerging from it is Conor McGrath, and he means danger. He's got a player over. He buries it in the back of the Cork net. Conor McGrath, 62 minutes are gone. That could be the goal that will drive Clare forward to collect the Liam McCarthy Cup. It was poor defending, but there was no denying the quality and the run and the strike of Conor McGrath. His fourth goal in championship hurling, his third this season. 4-13 to 2-16, 3 points between them, and Clare come again, and Tony Kelly takes off. Kenny's after him, can't get to him. Kelly tries to knock it over the bar and succeeds. 3 for him. Another one for Clare. They lead by 4, and there are only 8 minutes to go.
Well, there are two scores the likes of, as good as you'll ever see in an Ireland final. The Tony Kelly here again now, like from the halfway line on the run on his right side. I don't think that's his good side. Left or right makes no difference. But the goal before that, maybe a little bit of poor defending. But the skill level, the speed, the work rate of that man, and then to stick it up in the roof of the net under that pressure in an Ireland final is one of the greatest goals I've ever seen in a final.
But Cork will not give up, and Tom Kenny just hooked there by Pat Donnellan and put him off completely, and Donnellan was punching the air as well he might. Well, he offers poise and controls leadership for this Clare team. He's Davy Fitz out there in the park, really, in a way, in so many ways, fired up. Now can he lead his team over the remaining 7.5 minutes to collect the cup? Cork will have their own answer to that. Will they offer a positive response? They've been terrific up to now. They've kept on coming back. That time it's Lorcan McLaughlin down injured.
And to have, that's the huge thing about this Cork team. The last day they had no right to be in the game. They stayed plugging away, and today they looked 8 points down to come back and draw it with 10 minutes to go. And now 4 points in it, but they're not going to go away. They're going to fight to the end. And what a credit both teams are, and both trainers, to send out their team, Jimmy Barry and David Fitzgerald, with this philosophy. This is the way hurling should be played. What a game.
Anthony Nash knocking it in. Harnedy's in there. They're all in there. But it's going to come back out. Final shot was by Lee. Eventually the referee saw the foul in there on the Clare defender, and it's going to be a free out. Donald O'Donovan dusting himself down, walking away from a Davy Fitzgerald, looking at the subs bench and thinking of another change. He's already used up 3 of his possible 5 subs. Cork have used up 4 of theirs. Clare by 4 points here at Croke Park in front of 82,000 people. As you can see, 7 minutes remain, and a little under.
And Jerry, you mentioned Donald O'Donovan that I had mentioned earlier. He hadn't maybe seen much of him. That may be the crucial ball in this game. A 50-50 ball in, isolated, Stephen White inside with Donald O'Donovan. He catches and he runs out to the halfway line with the ball and brings it away. And shortly after then, Clare add on the goal and a point that maybe will win them this All-Ireland.
Pa Kelly's free. Kenny's under it for Cork. Breaks it down towards himself, collects it. But immediately dispossessed here. John Connell in there, but taking it away there for Cork is Chris Joyce. Back as far as Conor O'Sullivan. That backline of Cork's been under immense pressure for so much of this game. The Clare defenders had their moments when it was quite uneasy for them. Cork kept on pressing forward. And again Clare come, and they look for chances. And Nicky O'Connell now, who had a hand in the pass that came to Donal O'Donovan for the point that levelled the match back 3 weeks ago. But right now it's Clare ahead by 4 as they were at half-time. Pat O'Connor up as far as Shane O'Donnell. Got 1 point in the second half to below the 3-1 he got in the first 35 minutes. Leading the Cork defence, a merry dance and putting it over. It's a dream day for him. Last year it was Walter Welsh, you might remember, and Shane O'Donnell today having a day he will never forget. 3 goals and 3 points.
Yeah, and you'd have to say, on very limited possession in the second half, and I think the point he got in the second half was so crucial. You know, I mentioned it in the commentary, they hadn't scored for so long and he stopped the rot, but what a fantastic game he's had on one of the great defenders from Cork, on Shane O'Neill. 3-3 in an Ireland final. It's a day that he'll never forget, and God help him for the rest of his life at 19. The pressure that's going to be on him every time he goes out from now on to replicate this.
And that is going to be his final contribution, because Dara Conan's coming on to replace him. But just listen to the reception he is getting as he comes off. It was an inspired choice by manager Davy Fitzgerald to give this young man, this talented young hurler, his big break today on the day of the final, and how he has responded. Anthony Nash with the puck out. Cork down by 5. Is there any possible way back with only 4 minutes to go of the 70? They collected in the air through the marvellous Seamus Harnedy. Off he goes, flying through the air, shooting, but stopped on the line by Pat Kelly. He remained ice cool, and the referee's blown his whistle, and he's giving a free in. Did you see a foul as he was going through that time?
Well, no, I don't know. Brilliant catch, as you said, by Harnedy. I was watching what a run through the middle and went for the goal, and the goalkeeper ice cool. We'll have to see it again, but I just on that substitution, Ger, I don't know how he could take off Shane O'Donnell. Scored 3-3, full run, the young lad. Just watch here, yeah, little, pulled his togs, definitely a free, and it's inside the 21. Look where he's given the free, back out here. The foul was actually inside the 21. It should be a 21-yard free, and it's obviously, by the time he rises, it should be about the 21, but that's beside the point. It should be a 21-yard free.
Well, this has to go in, and the pressure is on Anthony Nash and on JBM once again. He's done marvellously well, Jimmy Barry, to get his team to the final. Nobody expected it in early summer.
12 players on the line again. Like, who's going to go for it? There's too many players there.
Well, they've decided
out a couple now.
to bring a couple out, just in case the ball comes back out to one of the incoming forwards.
I don't know why they don't put a couple of people nearer the ball. You only have to be 14 yards away. It's 25 or 6 yards out.
They've just put Cathal Naughton, Cork, right in front of the backs.
Clare should have a couple of backs. Clare should have 3 or 4 backs there.
There you see Cork with backs now right on the edge of the small rectangle. So if it comes bouncing out, God knows what's going to happen. But Nash will hit it a rocket once again. They need this. He's misdirected it really, and it's gone wide. Harnedy with the last touch. It just didn't come up properly for him.
Well, Jared, it's one of the, technically it's difficult to do, to rise the ball that far ahead and keep control, but that didn't come up at all from. Still went in there and just it's Harnedy again, and
stays at 4-15 to 2-16.
Anything could happen next year. We've seen so much over the 2 games, but you'd have to think at this stage that Clare should be able to hang on in there.
Well, can they? That is the question. It's very much their advantage, and 2 minutes to go. Surely it has to be. 9 minutes since Cork last scored. That was one they needed there a moment ago, but it wasn't easy. That's spooned back by Conor O'Sullivan, and this time he's done it once too many times over his own end line and given away a 65. I think it's the first in the match, and it takes the pressure off Clare. It puts the pressure back on Cork. Time is their enemy, and the Clare fans are ready to celebrate their heroes, and they hope they will be doing so inside the next 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, Ger, look, what an All-Ireland final. We thought after the last day we couldn't see anything like it again, but this has surpassed the last day. For brilliant hurling. Cork have played so well as well. Nobody can point a finger at any Cork player today and say they didn't hurl. Every one of them hurled their hearts out. And
marvellous skills, but great character as well, you know that?
Great resilience, great character, everything you love to see in the game.
Colin Ryan to strike and to put this one over the bar. He's got 7 points in this final. 6 of them have come from frees. He's put 6 points between the teams. It's Clare's title surely this time. Anthony Nash, 2 minutes of added time are going to be played, I'm told. So about 2 3/4 minutes to go before the final whistle. And Tony Kelly nips in here. Naughton's after him. Kelly bounces it again. He's did it in the final 3 weeks ago. Pat Delaney fashion from all those years ago. Here comes Naughton, who tracked back. Cork just living on scraps in the last few minutes. But very, very well from their point of view to get level midway through the second half. But then that Conor McGrath goal in particular, after 62 minutes, that was the one that set Clare up here. They're still going, Cork, still looking for it. And they've got it! Stephen Moylan. Well, it's his third championship goal. He's put 3 between them, and there's still going to be about the best part of 2 minutes to go.
Absolutely brilliant goal, Joe. What a catch, Pat Cronin, and a finish. The goalie hardly moved. A brilliant finish by Stephen Moylan.
Well, they're probably wondering, are we going to lose this? Still ahead by 3. It's an amazing match.
I said it a couple of minutes ago, anything can happen, and it's not over yet.
Who's going to win the next ball? The next score is important now. Up it goes there towards John Conlon. Couldn't get to it. There was a foul. McLaughlin ready to take the free. Referee wants it taken again. There's another sub just in there by Clare, and that is Shane Amori. He becomes their 5th and final one. All eyes now, however, on the free taker. It's got to drop it in. As you can see, the first minute has practically elapsed here, so another 60 seconds to go. But then again, I think we said that the last time as well, didn't we? Here comes Nash. Huge one. Landing about 13 metres out. Collected by Harnedy, looking for space. Fumbled. The Clare defenders get around him. Out he comes to the substitute, Shane Amori. This is his only contribution. He's only on a few seconds, and he gets the ball away far enough. 40 seconds to go. Down to the man who was left out, Dara Conan. They're ahead by 3, Clare. Looking to try and put it over the bar. Very tight angle. He might get a chance here. He does. He walks it all the way in. Dara Conan. That is amazing. 5-16 to 3-16.
Well, you couldn't make this up during your wildest dreams. And Derek Conan showed great composure there. He really had he was right not to go for a shot, because he would have given a free puck out if he sent it wide, and he carried it in and ended up in the back of the net. It's all over.
It's all over. Clare are the champions. Davy Fitzgerald has done it. It's taken a replay. It's taken a magnificent match. One of the great finals, and he can scarcely believe it. But he's achieved wonders with this young team. They've come from the bottom of the pack in the last few years to win their first All-Ireland since 1997. A wonderful scene of euphoria that only an All-Ireland hurling final can engender. John Conlon set it all up. The fans have played their part. Joy unconfined for Clare. Bittersweet emotions for the vanquished from Cork. That's Stephen White there who came on as a sub. JB Yamo did his bit to get his team here. How they played, but Clare were the better. Final score, it's Clare 5-16, it's Cork 3-16. Davy Fitzgerald, centre stage. Well, it's been an amazing championship, capped by an amazing final. And for Cork, it's been a remarkable year as well. Getting to the final has been an achievement in itself for an emerging squad and a proud management team. But it's about winners at this stage.
Jerry, even at last ball, Joe. Seamus Harnedy won it again. A little flick to Cathal knocked in. He could have caught it and buried it in the net. He dropped it, ended up in the back of the net up the field. What an incredible game.
Let's go down and join Clare McNamara.
I'm with hurling's new hero, Shane O'Donnell. Congratulations. What does it feel like to be an All-Ireland winner?
It's absolutely amazing. The first time I was on the panel and I get to a final, I don't even know what hard work most of the lads put in every year, and they get nowhere. And this is to them, it's to backroom staff, it's to everyone. I'm the man that gets at the end of the goals, but like it's a team effort to get goals.
Not only did you make it to a final, you scored a hat-trick within 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, the first two were absolutely given to me, handed on a plate, but yeah, it's the stuff of dreams. For the first 20 minutes I was in dreamland. You'd wake up and go, that never happened now, like, but I couldn't even believe it now, I really couldn't believe it.
And even right there, right into added time, it was still in the mix.
Yeah, just testament to Cork. Now, they were a brilliant team, they never gave up the ghost, like even goal after goal gun in them, and it didn't faze them, they just came back, but thank God we came out the right side.
What does it mean to the people of Clare, people back home watching, the people here in the stadium?
It means absolutely everything. It's tough times all around the country, and if you can lift them with these kind of performances and these kind of days, like look at the hill, it's absolutely amazing. Like you can see what it means to them, like I don't even need to say it.
Shane, congratulations, a terrific performance, enjoy it.
Thanks very much, thanks.
Well, it had been a tremendous All-Ireland final drawn match, an even more spectacular replay. A total of 8 goals and 32 points in that match. Cyril Farrell, Liam Sheedy, Eddie Brennan here with me in studio have enjoyed every moment of that. And Cyril Farrell, I suppose, first of all, you want to say to your neighbours down there in the west, a hearty congratulations on their victory.
They'll be bonfires west of the Shannon. I know they're not in Connacht, but they were once upon a time. It was an unbelievable game, 5-16 to 3-16, until Darragh Coney came on and got that goal. You know, these tennis goals. That full forward line, he got 5-5 from Clare today. Unbelievable, like. But the game itself, Michael, up and down the field. Hurling was the winner. I know Cork will be disappointed, Clare will be over the moon. That's a young team. But like, it's the likes of Tony Kenny's and Sir Shane O'Donnell. I knew from the training, the Fitz used to tell me, O'Donnell was flying in training. And I knew they were going to put in, as the lad says, the full army in goals, even though it didn't work, like it didn't block. But he had to try something. He said O'Donnell, Darragh Coney had this kind of a grade 3 grind strain all the year. So like, all these substitutes played well, but when you win the match, of course. Like Cork still played well. But Michael, for pure emotion, for pure drama, like you had 82,000 here again today. Like, it's the greatest advertisements for hurling. And like, it's the greatest game in the world, but like for Clare tonight, there'll be no winter in Clare. Mark to be saying they won't drink milk cows. They'll forget it about milk, they'll drink the cows anyway. But like, the thing is, down there in Clare this year, there'll be no winter because these are the new kids on the block. Like, these are the future of as Liam was saying before the game, if Clare won it, they could be around for a long time. It's up to everyone else to get up to that standard again. But like, it's great, it's a breath of fresh air. If Cork won to be their 31st title, it's only Clare's, I think, 4th, I think, you know, so like, it's unreal. And I know like tonight they'll celebrate, they'll be over the moon, and I'm delighted for all the background team. I know Fitzy well. Look, he wears his heart on his shoulder, he gets involved with people at now and time, but like, these group of players would die for him. You know, they bought into his system, and like the whole lot, you either buy into it or you get out, one or the other. You buy into it, and these guys, like, you know, they're going to, if they're minded right and mind themselves right, they're going to be there for a long, long time.
All right, Cyril, I think a few cows in Clare will be hiding in hedges for a couple of days just to be on the safe side. Liam Sheedy, I think we should say at this stage, congratulations to both teams, because, and pay tribute to both teams, because as Cyril said, you know, there has to be a winner, loser, and so on, but what a game of hurling.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. I mean, you know, in fairness to Clare, they came and they got the early start, but like, you couldn't give Cork enough credit for what they brought to the spectacle either. I mean, with 10 minutes to go, Seamus Harnedy brought the game back level again. In a game you felt that, you know, if they had to get the point up, but they could never get that 1 point up. They never got that 1 point up, and I think that was hugely important. So full credit to Clare, absolutely deserving All-Ireland champions.
Right, Liam, and the president of the GAA, Liam O'Neill, about to make the famous presentation.
Our son Goctin an seo, agus our son Goctin atá feachand ar an glithe seo timpeall an down ar fad. Bháil an buchas ó Cree a gháil a Corcaigh agus an Clare as an taspáintas úntach omaníochta a thug sí doing inniu. Tres Liam ó Cree leis an Clare as an bua úntach a bhí acu an seo. Agus bhálam cóhrón a dhéanamh le Corcaigh. Croigh sibh go húntaach inniu agus tasúlagam níos fearr ar bhur gcuidibre an céadúir eile hagann sibh ar ais gur maithagah Corcaigh. Bhálam buchas a gháil in our Nurahuri, Liberty, Centra agus Etihad. Agus an isise cóide is cúis áis agus an óra domsa. Corn Vic Carthy of runner are Patrick Donnellan, captain on Clare.
The Uachtaráin Liam O'Neill presents the Liam McCarthy Cup to Pat Donnellan as Clare are the All-Ireland champions, champions of 2013, they're champions for the 4th time. What an achievement. Davy Fitzgerald has done it with his wonderfully talented group of young players. Carnival time. Today's Clare players, they'll be soon folk heroes and legends, you can be sure. And right now the people are just overjoyed, and you can see shaking with excitement. It's an enormous sporting achievement for Davy Fitz and for all the others, and what a welcome home they're going to get in Ennis tomorrow night.
On Carnshaw, I Glocka, or San Fernamani, let's go now, Clare! Today is a day that we need to see a lot more often in the county of Clare. We haven't been here for a long number of years, but I can tell you one thing for sure. With these group of players, Clare will be here a lot more years from now on. It gives me great honour to start 2 years ago when Davy was became manager. He asked me to be captain, and for myself, it's a huge honour to be chosen as a worthy representative for the qualities that these players show. I think to a man for the last 2 years, there could be nothing but good things said about him. And for me and for the players here, we're so proud to wear the Clare jersey, and thanks so much for the supporters for following us here today. A lot of people to thank. When Davy comes on board, he brings a lot of people with him. So I'll start, but we have a huge backroom team. Our doctor, Doc Quinn, our physio, Diarmid and Mary, Amy McInerney. A lot of people who do a lot of thankless jobs, I suppose, of training. Like Tommy Hegarty, Tom Stackpole, Shawnee McMahon, Pádraig McMahon, Fergie McDonough. Who am I thinking of? Fahy. Natty. I suppose our inspiration, our performance coach, our team manager, you might call him, but a lot of other people to thank as well. Gezi, I suppose he's a famous man around Clare. He's our kit man. He's one of our friends around the dressing room, and the place wouldn't be the same without him, so hopefully he'll be here with us for the next 10 or 20 years as well. Saoirse Bulfin, he's a Limerick man, I suppose, but he's got Clare blood running through his veins. And I suppose all the saves that Pat's been pulling off through the year, a lot of it's good, thankless to him. We've had, we've a statistician team. Mike Curry, Dinny Callahan, Mikey DC. And they provide all the vital statistics throughout the year. Thanks a million, lads. We had a meeting, I suppose, a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about different things and what it meant to be playing for Clare and what it meant to wear the Clare jersey. And when I was growing up, I suppose something that I always associated with the Clare jersey was Pat O'Donnell. He's a fella that we have huge pride that he's involved with us. He gives so much of his time, his effort, other funding and money and things like that to keep this Clare team going, and we thank him sincerely. Thank you, Pat. I suppose to our team management, our fitness and our conditioning is something that's been remarked upon as being very good throughout the year. And we have a man, I suppose he's scientific and he's a perfectionist. And he's a Limerick man, a bit of Kerry in him. But from last day on as well, he's an honorary Clare man. That's Joe O'Connor. And finally, I suppose, to the team management, We have 3 men that are involved with Davy: Dewey Mulqueen, Mike Deegan and Paul Kinnerk. I suppose 3 men that always have a word to say, something I suppose that'll try and bring you along the day and try and get the most out of you, and they are so committed to Clare hurling and committed to this group and committed to us getting the most out of ourselves, and we genuinely thank you from the bottom of our heart today on behalf of the panel. And finally, I was a young man when I was inside in the stand here in 95 and 97, and Anthony Daly spoke about a manager in charge that was obsessive. And we have a manager in charge, Davy Fitz, and to say that he's obsessive about Clare hurling and obsessive about winning would be an understatement. He is the most... He's a man, I suppose, that has a certain persona in the media and in papers and things like that. But I can tell you, if any one of these players had to put their life on the line for Davy, it'd be done in the morning, not a problem. He gives everything he has for this county, and we thank him for giving everything that he has. Thank you, Davy. And finally, I suppose to the Cork hurling team, your management team, I suppose, look, we've had unreal games this year so far, not least 3 weeks ago and then today to cap it off again. And look, we are a team that pride ourselves in being honest, pride ourselves in being commitment, and pride ourselves in giving everything we have. And it's brilliant to be met with a team that has the same qualities out there today, and it was just nip and tuck, goal for goal like it was the last day, and just thank you for a great game today. And 3 cheers for Cork. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. We'll all see you in Ennis tomorrow night.
And you can be sure they'll have some party in Ennis tomorrow night. Davy Fitz, Pat Donnan and all the others taking back the Liam McCarthy Cup to the Banner County. Clare's glorious day, a glorious day for the sport. 2 of the great teams in action, one of the great finals of the past 25 years. Let's go back to Clare.
Davy Fitzgerald, you were there in 95, you were there in 97, and now you have led this incredible young Clare team to victory in 2013. Give us an idea how you're feeling.
It's hard to say how I'm feeling. I'm just so proud of my guys. It's nothing to do with us, it's down to them. Like, we let Cork back into the game, we made it as hard as we could for ourselves, but my God, what character.
Do you know it's going to be your day when a 19-year-old who's a late inclusion on the team scores a hat-trick?
He's an unreal young lad, some talent, but we have a lot of good lads like that, and fair play to them. See Darragh came on at the end and scored a goal to finish it as well.
And it was a goal you needed?
Yeah, we needed that at the end.
I know you're anxious to go and celebrate with your team. Well done, Davy.
Thank you.
Well, Davy Fitzgerald, of course, wants to go and celebrate with his team. And what an incredible journey it is for him. Eddie Brennan, this was the job that Davy Fitz wanted. He wanted, as most guys do, to manage their own county and naturally to manage them to an All-Ireland title. He has achieved that.
Yeah, what a day for Davy Fitz. You know, you'd have to take your hat off to him because, you know, there's pressure attached to that as well. I can imagine it, as you know, and it's the second year and they were beaten in Munster. And you'd have to say, when you get a bunch of players together and you have a management system in place and he gives them, you know, a mandate that he wants them to follow and to see that through, and that's what Davy Fitz has done with these lads. Now, certain people, I suppose, down in Clare weren't overly fond of the game plan that Davy was trying to put in place, but when the players buy into that and buy in completely into what a management is trying to get them to do, give themselves 110% to the system, believe in that no matter what's going on around them, when things go bad, and things were going bad for Clare the last few months, but they have certainly steadied up. Their belief in the system has paid off, and today you'd have to say to them, for a young team, they rolled up their sleeves, they got knocked back, they delivered the big punches in the first half, they absorbed everything Cork could throw at them. Cork got it back to level, and they just kicked on from there. And even talk about Darragh Conan there, he mentioned him. You know, sometimes when a lad gets dropped like that, he can be feeling sorry for himself. He sprinted onto the field today, got a chance, and went in and stuck it in the net. And that's all you ask of your players: make a contribution, contribute to the team. But fair play to David Fitzgerald. You'd have to say, big bull of bus to Davy. He has done it. You know, a lot of people mightn't have felt they would have done it as quick. You know, his second year in, they contested a relegation final in the league, and now they're All-Ireland champions. But, you know, fair play to them.
They're the All-Ireland champions, and an extraordinary thing about the game, Liam, was, and again, I'm going back to the point I made earlier about paying tribute to both teams. Cork got knocked back and back again in the first half, conceded 3 goals, and they still came back to level the game. And then Clare took all of that was thrown at them and responded.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, I mean, for as a spectacle, you just couldn't wish for any better. I mean, sometimes replays don't live up to the original game, the first day out.
We remember last year, 11-point gap.
Yeah, you know what I mean. The game was over. We played out the last 15-20 minutes of the game. But today, and even as you said, Cork, like, you know, Stephen Mylan rattles the back of the net with a minute to go, 2 minutes to go. Just in a fantastic goal, and they actually had a half a chance. Seamus Harnedy caught a ball. The pass just broke down. They could have been back level, but and up they go and they get a goal at the other end of the field. But like, full credit to Clare. I think over the course of it, you know, I know Eddie was playing today. I think he learned a huge amount during the year. I mean, I for one would have been critical of their short passing at times, especially in the first round of the semi-final. But they corrected that, and you know, they learned, and they had numerous wides, and again they got their wides down into single figures again today. So I think he's learned a lot over his management career. He's fully deserving of his day in the sun with this Clare team. And I can tell you one thing to all the other counties out there: this Clare team are around for a while, and I see Brian Cody there, a picture of him in the stand. Yes. They'll need to start plotting a long time out for this Clare team, because they're just an exceptional bunch of hurlers. To score 5-16 on the biggest day of all in Croke Park, 31 points after getting 25 points the last day. They have no fear, they have no inhibitions, they just go and play, and they play really well today and are fully deserving. But I would spare a thought for Cork. I thought, you know, they were outstanding contributors to the 2 days, and you know, we're that close. We're 1 minute away from being All-Ireland champions this year. They deserve great credit, and Jimmy Barry Murphy deserves a huge amount of credit for where he's brought this team this year from nowhere. But overall, it's been a fantastic hurling year. I think hurling has been the big winner all season, and obviously Clare are absolutely outstanding All-Ireland champions.
Sir Farr, your county over in the west would have experienced something like this, in the sense that, you know, Clare won the All-Irelands 95 and 97, and then there's been that gap since. It wasn't quite as long in Galway's case, but then from 1980 to come again in 1987-88, you know, it relit the whole county again for a while.
Yeah, and much with the same kind of a system. A minor team came through in 83 and a controlling team not the same. But what impressed me about Davy's management team is I saw these lads playing Waterford Crystal early on. And young O'Donnell was below playing with Cork first year UCC, and he had him playing full forward. He was very light and said, I could make a great forward out of this fella. I happened to be at a funeral last week. John Connolly's father passed away, big age, Paulie Conway. Right, yes. And we're chatting afterwards, and of course, there's all hurling, and he said he's going very well in training. I knew what he meant, and Derek had a kind of an injury. And he said, I think I have a system up out. But Davy brought into systems, but like, just to see that young fella fulfilling that potential. And even earlier last year, you talking about Tony Kelly. He said, I have a new breed of a centre forward that's said to cover the whole pitch. He was thinking of Tony Kelly and Podge Collins. Like, as Liam often said, they're the kind of the new type. If you watch Tony Kelly moving, like, he'd glide around the pitch, he's mentally had a grey man, he hasn't got 3, they'll kind of pop up everywhere. They're the new type. They're unusual for Clare in the sense that their ability to cruise around everywhere and get great scores and great skill. Now, the team of Clare that won the All-Irelands had great skill as well, but they're a forceful, physical team. This team is more like kind of light foot, body swerve and movement the whole time. And you know, they're a team, if they're minded, they're a team of the future, because there's a lot of young lads that are just on the edge of that panel that are quite good as well. I think like Paul Flanagan, these fellas, Shane and Murray, come on, these lads, Nicky O'Connell, these lads are bursting, Tots O'Connell, they're bursting to get on, but you know, they can't get on because, like, with the lads, Shane Murray would be on, he was on earlier on, got injured, and by the time he came back in, the team was settled. And you saw what Darragh Conan did, like, when he came on, got his goal, he'd be disappointed if he dropped, but wasn't fully fit. So, like, you know, Colin McGrath probably saved today. He's back from injury from last year. His best game, I'd say, by a mile today when he came back on it.
What's really amazing, I think, about Clare is that they didn't let their inhibitions or their heads didn't drop at all from the drawn match, that they kept their focus. They obviously were able to stay very, very positive, and there was probably a sense in the county maybe they left it behind them, and they were able to keep that at bay, which is a brilliant sign of a team, very mature for a young team, and I'm sure Davy played no small part in that as well. But listening to him as well, even in some of the interviews up to today, you know, Colin Ryan talking about how relaxed they done and how that they stayed nice and relaxed, and that Davy brought them away for a weekend just to get them switched off from it. In fairness to him, you know, he ticked the boxes.
Well,
he got it right.
He was telling me that last weekend they had a great session on a Friday, looked very sharp.
Yes.
And went for a bit of golf on a Saturday, and on Sunday they looked flat, which can happen. And he had training range for Tuesday, Thursday, and he said, I'm thinking of it. He said, I've scrapped the Tuesday, Thursday just doing Wednesday. He just felt that they were going to be flat. All he was hoping was that he had them fresh, that he knew they could hurry. And like, you get a feeling for a team. Now, Jim Barry Murphy do the very same thing. They still played very well, but like, these are new kids on the block. Remember, Clare haven't won 30 titles. They haven't won that many, you know. So like, they'll be hoping to drive on with the under-21 team coming through. Now, you know, mine has been pushed on. They'll be hoping to win 2 or 3. But like, the captain showed Brian Cody there, and like, you know, sure, he'd be smiling, he'd be saying, "It's fair play," and he'd love hurling, but he'd be plotting for next year, you know. Like, and like, he has new selectors in this year, and the Gary is in, who I think could be a top coach yet. Like, he's big into the coaching. There isn't a hurling in the country James McGarry doesn't know, and like, I'd say he's grooming for down the future. But these are the team of the future. Okay, Cork will be disappointed tonight, but it's hard to believe. One night I saw them playing in 6 Mile Bridge, and Michael, it would freeze you above it in February. I mean, freeze you. Half the Cork team didn't get there. There was an Irish village, which was a great, very, very skillful hurling. They wind up playing to see who stood up in Division 1, and then they wind up in All Ireland. It's an unbelievable fairy tale for both counties. I know now Cork were disappointed, but over the whole year, it's been a fantasy story for both Clare and Cork where they came from.
And the thing about it is, Liam, you know, Cyril has been saying that this is a young team and they could be around for a while, and we've been saying the same thing in the football with Dublin. You know, they could dominate football for quite some time, but you never know. So you take these when you get them.
Oh, listen, to get up these steps is not an easy thing to do, you know. And like, when you go back down the bottom of the hill again next year, they're all waiting for you. You know, you're all inside in the big pack again, and like, there's no one won't look forward to drawing. Like, the draw's on next week, and everyone, whoever they draw in Munster, will say, they'll be licking their lips saying, "Bring it on," you know. Because now everyone, that's the thing, everyone wants a piece of the champions, and that's the beauty about hurling. But I mean, you go back over this year, you had Limerick winning Munster for the first time in a long time. You had Dublin winning Leinster, and you've Clare All-Ireland champions. And I suppose the one team you would have a huge amount of sympathy for is Cork, because they played in the Munster final, played in the All-Ireland final, and at the end of the year they have no medal to show for it, which is very disappointing for them. But in fairness to the banner, I thought, like, in Conor McGrath and Shane O'Donnell were just outstanding today. Like, that end of the field, that's really where they got a grip in the game. Tony again chips in with 3 wonderful points, and again I suppose maybe underestimated the fact that they lost, but Brian Murphy went on to Podge Collins today. Podge Collins has to me been an outstanding player all year, and full credit to Brian Murphy. He actually took him out of the game today, and Podge Collins ended up being taken off. But that was a day where it didn't happen for Podge Collins today, and Shane O'Donnell and Conor McGrath step up, and that's what they have in Clare. If one guy isn't coming to the plate, another guy steps in, and as I said, outstanding team, outstanding champions, and you know, it's going to be test everyone to get to the level that Clare are at right now.
And that is the mark of champions, isn't it, Eddie? But Liam just said that a day where 1 or 2 things go wrong for you, maybe a player that's expected to have a key role in it, and somebody else comes along and does it instead.
Yeah, that's the I suppose the seesaw really of All Ireland final day. It can work out for you one day. You know, you take Conor Ryan the last day, absolutely brilliant, and nice and solid again today. But Conor McGrath, for me, was a fella, I'm a big fan of his all year long. I felt he was waiting to take off all year. He's a goal scorer, and today his work rate first and foremost was absolutely phenomenal. The hooks and blocks, he followed Cork lads halfway down the field, dispossessed them, and he got his reward at the end. He got a great goal. But just going back to what Liam was saying there about it's a long way down to the bottom of the hill, for anyone that's beaten on a day like today, it makes those dreaded winter nights, you know, you're just going, the thoughts are going backwards. For the Clare boys now, it'll be very easy, bring them lads back in training next year. There's a pep in your step, there's a massive confidence now in their game, especially a young team that will grow and grow on the back of that. But for Cork, you know, they're going to have to lick their wounds for a little while, and they just go back to the rest of them, the also-rans this year, and have to start from scratch again.
Alright, let's hear from the Cork manager, Jimmy Barry Murphy. He is with Clare McNamara.
Jimmy, tough place to be. What have you said to the players in there?
Well, I just thank them for their efforts for the year. They've been fantastic for me and for the management team, and they've done the county proud over the whole year. And there's no disgrace in me beaten by Clare, who are a superb team. And I said to them, we'll take our beating like men now and move on and try and get back here again if we can.
Yet another incredible final. What more could you have done?
Well, we could have won, but at the end of the day, I've got to acknowledge Clare, a superb team, deserved their victory over both days, and I can't. But we, a great praise of them for the way they played and the kind of hurling they played were fantastic, I thought. And our lads they did us proud. We were 8 points down. We got back to level it, but I suppose over the 2 days, when you're playing catch up both days, you eventually don't get away with that. And they got some great scores when they really needed them, and it just, as I said, full credit to Clare.
Yeah, you were chasing it, but with that period of second half dominance, did you feel that you could push on and win it? Yeah,
could look at it when we got back to level or near enough. We had a number of very, very good chances which didn't go our way today. But I just think that when you're chasing a game as much as we were, one slip